Hello guys, what's up? Um, I'm sending the link to Claire right now. She's going to be coming on and give me one second. I'm just sending her the link. She's going to be coming on and we'll just be talking about. Hello? That's weird. Did my mic go? Can you hear me? Hold on. I gotta see if you can hear me now. I gotta see if you can hear me. I gotta go on my other computer because it stopped making sounds. Oh, here's comments, no comments. Sorry, I have to check if my microphone is working now. There's one person watching. If you can let me know in the comments, uh if you can hear me. I'm just gonna go see if I can hear myself. And this is hard. It's gonna be hard to find. Oh, let me hold on. Let me how do I share the link to this? Well, let's just see. I can't find me on YouTube. I'm not going to be showing up because I'm on shadow ban. How do I find this video? Okay, hold on. This is really annoying that I'm on shadow ban and I can't find anything. Here it is. Let's just see if I can hear myself. Looks like it. Yeah, I can. Um, okay, Reliable Andrew says, yes, I can hear you. What's up, Reliable Andrew? How are you? While we're waiting for Claire, do you have any questions on anything? Are you a first time watcher? Do you keep up with me? I'm really into the Noahide laws, but I get into eugenics and using different social experiments to promote that and lots of other kind of stuff like that. I don't know how often you watch my channel. Um, so I guess I can start talking a little bit about some things while we wait for Claire. Judas Fly obviously can't stream today because Judas Fly can't stream today because it's Shabbos or whatever. It's Passover, not Passover, Sabbath. It's Sabbath, and so he can't come on. But it's good to know that you keep up with this kind of stuff. It's really hard to find people who take the Noahide laws seriously in any camp, anywhere. Most people just don't take them that seriously and they don't really care about them, and it's not something that they worry about. But um, I think that that's really just look, it's coming. I think people can see it's on the horizon. Like one day it could be here. So why not just start the resistance now while it's easy? I mean, in my vision, my vision is that the Noahide laws are like kind of what? Yeah, the Noahide laws are kind of in place in the next 50, years, and most of the world will be compliant, but there's going to be a resistance. So I'm just trying to lay down the road for the resistance and ease their passing because I think it's going to be a really difficult war. Yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult war between what's going to happen is that the Christians are going to go Noahide once they realize hmm, sorry, I'm drinking. Once the Christians see Noahidism spreading across the earth and with it kind of spreading a peace. Now, I think it's a false peace, but a peace, and they're going to see that Noahide law is bringing the opposite of what they're waiting for, which is all this turmoil. And look, Jesus is not coming down to save you. He's not. You're waiting for supernatural intervention. The Jews are actually manipulating reality. They're actually plotting and planning, and you're not. You're just sitting there waiting for supernatural intervention. For God to come out of the sky and to save you. And they have a much better plan and they're going to win. Not that they're good, they don't win ultimately, but they're going to win over the Christians definitely. And then the Muslims will just be absorbed into them slowly. Islam will just become Noahidism, and so um, most of the world will become Noahides. And I don't know what the resistance is going to look like. I don't know if they'll be resisting countries or if it'll just be pockets of resistance or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I encourage people to start reading Noahide blogs and running across Noahides because you're going to find some of the most hateful people on earth. Truly the most hateful people on earth. And you can tell that these people hate. They hate. They hate. And more so than Christians. I think Christians in the past hated more, but I think modern Christians don't hate as much. And I think actually that's what's going to attract people to the Noahide movement is the fact that you can hate and you could want to actually kill your enemy. You're allowed to do that. And so I think that people are looking for that. And Christianity restrains that impulse. And number one, I don't think that that impulse can be restrained forever. And number two, I think that restraining it too much has made Christianity weak. And even though I'm a pagan and stuff like that, um, if Christianity had been more stringent and hateful, there would be no paganism in America. There would be no homosexuality in America. If America had started out as a Noahide nation, none of this liberalism or anything would be here. Um, so it actually, promises to get rid of all this stuff through a more strict moral code. With a more strict moral code. What's this brand? Oh, I have to. Where's Claire? I'm still waiting for her. Let me. Hold on. Let me give her a call. Hold on. Where is she? I don't know if that called her or not. I'm trying to call her to get her on. Oh, here, she's here now.
Hi.
What's up?
Hello. How are you?
Good. Who's Reliable Andrew? He's here. Who's Reliable Andrew?
I don't know who he is. Do you
Hmm.
want to let him in?
No, he's just chatting in the stream. Can you do me a favor? Can you tweet out the link and everything like that? Uh,
Okay.
oh,
I can't tweet because I'm not on Twitter anymore.
why?
Because I've been deplatformed, permanently suspended.
For what?
For ban invasion.
Oh, wait, Claire. I'm sending you the link to our YouTube conversation right now.
Okay.
Excuse me. Um,
How many subscribers have you got now?
like 22, but
Mm,
I feel like, I'm on the shadow ban. They don't show my videos. But wait, why were you suspended in the first place?
Oh, because, well, it was my fifth account, and I guess they don't like what I say. And then even if I didn't break any of the rules this time, they said, oh, we're going to get you for ban evasion. So that's a problem.
Well, what have you said that would get you in trouble? I mean, you don't advocate murder or Hitler or anything like that. Echo, turn on the fan.
I can't even remember now, but obviously it was kind of hate speechy. I honestly can't remember. It's been, I guess I must
Hate
have.
speech, but you don't say. I don't know what you would have said that would have gotten you in trouble.
I they change. I mean, it's like less now gets you into trouble than before, right? I mean, I
What were
think
you saying, like lock homosexuals up or something? I mean, what were you saying?
no, I mean, you just just show dislike or disapproval, and it's enough to be interpreted as hate speech. Or you question people. I don't know. I can't actually remember now. And then after that, I was so careful, and they still found a reason to deplatform me. Maybe they just don't like me promoting secular Quranism.
1 second, I'm smoking.
Okay,
Um, a lot of people don't like you promoting secular Quranism.
but people are interested. I mean, did you read the PDF? I I must have linked to you about, well, just a Muslim um, Islamic scholar critiquing it, refuting it. He said, did, did you read any of that?
I saw that you posted an article where somebody asked if secular Quranism was Islam, and he said no.
I think it was a legitimate form of a legitimate school of Sharia. I think that was the
Yes.
question, and then there's a longer one above 25 pages. That's the latest thing.
Oh no, send that to me.
Oh, haven't I? I will. I'm surprised I
He
haven't
wrote a
sent.
75 page,
Oh, 25, just 25
a
pages.
25 page dissection of secular Quranism.
Yeah.
Why? Because you think it's that much of a threat?
Well, I guess he's sort of interested, and and the idea is that he, that other Islamic scholars also have a look at it, and you know, tell, talk about it, and see how. I did share it with you, Vincent. Of course, I would have done
Oh,
it.
okay, I'll look
So
at
it's called
it.
Refuting Secular Quranism. It should be on your timeline, and then all you have to do is click on it.
It's on my timeline. Can you send it to me in email?
I can send it to you. Okay, okay. If you want it by email, um, okay. Just another Hindu. And yeah, it's quite easy to read because of the first half of it is um, oh, I don't know why is the link so long. I feel that that's not quite right. Let me just fix it briefly. Maybe it's okay. Wait. Okay, I'll send you both links. Okay, the really long one, and then I'll. Okay, so I've just sent it by email to you. Maybe that will be enough. But yeah. It's a 22 page, 25 pages, I should say.
Okay, that's interesting. I'll go through it. I mean, well, obviously you're
I mean, it
getting,
tries to. I mean, it's supposed to be like an academic paper, but
uh-huh,
it is rather longer than the short question thing that was the other one.
uh-huh.
Have you got it?
Hold on. Oh, let me check. Yeah, I should have it. Give me 1 second. Yes.
Okay, and you can access it. All right.
Oh, it's about you? It's about you? This is definitely about you. Someone wrote it on academia?
Yeah.
Have you read it?
Yes.
How was it?
Well, the first half is basically quotes of me explaining the thing, and then the second half is him saying it can never be, it's untenable, it's all wrong, she doesn't even know, blah blah blah. So, but I was quite pleased with the extensive quoting from me, because it was just easier to let me explain it rather than try and explain it himself.
Hmm. By William Brianis.
Rayan is, yes, he's got a YouTube channel too. So maybe if you you can tag him. Do you know you can tag people?
No,
on YouTube, and
no.
yeah, well, it's quite useful.
Well, people are really stirred up by your secular Quranism.
Yes, yes, they hate it, but some people find it useful or worth talking about. I still remember Jen saying, oh, "You can't unthink it," like she wanted to.
Yeah.
Do you speak to her?
No,
No.
she, hold on. I'm just, you sent it to me without a, no, she stopped talking to me. I mean, she didn't officially stop talking. It's not like she told me she stopped talking to me, but she stopped talking to me when I came out about incest. And that was also the last time I talked to David. I haven't really talked to them since then. I don't know if David, I mean, and the thing is, I know that it really jarred her because I went to her channel and I was watching, and somebody asked me about incest, and she's like, I'm not hosting this conversation on my channel.
Mhm.
So, you know,
I suppose I'm reasonably comfortable about it because I'm saying, marriage is all about who we can and can't have sex with, and there are definite rules about whom we can't marry, and we're not supposed to marry our, family members or family members within the forbidden degrees of consanguinity. And so I'm just going to regard it as a sex offense, a sexual offense that
yeah.
that you know and a lot of sexual offenses that are mentioned in the Bible and the Quran are now legal now. So in terms of what's permissible and not permissible, there's a trend.
You're not going to believe it. I knew this for a long time. I blogged about it a long time ago, but I just haven't brought it up recently since I came out in favor of incest. Uh, Echo, turn off the fan. Um, since I came out in favor of incest, but here in the United States, in the state of Rhode Island, it is legal only for Jews for uh, an uncle to marry his niece, and it was made because the uncle niece marriages are legal and are in the Talmud and are praised. Now, a lot of Jews say that, like some rabbis said, it's inappropriate to marry um, your niece in this age, but it was made legal, at least during the time that Rhode Island was being made. It was made legal for Jews to practice incest. So I want to use that as a springboard to legalize incest for everyone on all counts everywhere. It's my first wedge in, and I actually have to write about that. Actually, I have to put that up on incesty.net. So incesty.net is my pro incest blog.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, pro LGBT, and that's already legal, and gay marriage is already legal. I mean, incest is just, another one on the list. And if you look up Wikipedia, there is a there's a table of a list of countries where incest is legal. You'd be
I
surprised to
know.
find it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I
haven't
know.
heard of it, right? I mean,
Yes.
I was shocked when I saw it, but it's um, yeah. And I remember years ago there was some journalist talking about genetic attraction, and I was saying, well, what is it? And then she kind of smiled, and I thought, what's going on? They're actually promoting incest. And I think that there's a kind of satanic instinct for people to just go have a list of things that they know they're not supposed to do and just go and do it.
No, but I've told you 100 times that the okay. Number one, I guess the number one reason that I'm starting is because I personally am an incestophile. I mean, just as I was born a homosexual, I was born an incestophile. Like, I'm just naturally attracted to the concept of incest before I knew it was wrong. Okay, I was an incestophile at 5 years old. Like, I didn't know what I was thinking was wrong, but I was thinking it.
Okay,
Um,
so maybe there is a kind of, a reason of convenience. It's like, well, it's at home. I don't have to go out for it, kind of thing,
No, I was 5
right?
years old. I wasn't
It,
I
it
wasn't doing I wasn't doing math like that. I mean, I was 5 years old. I just wanted an incestuous contact with someone.
well, it would be your sibling, right?
I'm not telling you who it was, but I had an incestuous not relationship, but desire.
But does it persist now?
Um
I
no,
mean,
but that's well, it only stopped persisting maybe 10 years ago, but Um,
what, you no longer find them attractive?
no, just kinda, I guess, to be honest with you, I asked them and they said no.
Yeah. I remember, there's a lot of, pushing the envelope stuff. Like, there was a movie that I saw, and I can't remember the name of it now, but it was by quite a famous actor, and he was in Harry Potter. I forget, he's dead now. I can't remember his name, but it was about incest, and
I know, but it's not Claire, I mean, it's getting boring. You keep saying, "Oh, this is pushing the envelope. This is pushing the envelope." No, there's people who are genuine, there's people who are genuine incestophiles that are not pushing any envelopes. This is just how they feel. And then I
well,
have
you
an
should
idea.
suppress it.
What?
You should suppress it.
No, we're not going to suppress it.
Because you're just basically doing everything the other way. What is
No,
forbidden, you're going to allow.
I was an incestophile before I knew it was wrong. I didn't know it was wrong when I was an incestophile. I didn't calculate how to be a bad boy. I just was.
Okay, maybe you're just more highly sexed than, well,
A lot of
other
people are
normal people. I mean,
incestophiles.
I've read things about. Have you heard of Lord Byron,
Yeah.
the poet? Well, apparently he was into sex at a very young age.
I wouldn't be surprised. He was very gifted, advanced. I mean,
Precocious.
yeah, precocious. In my mind, in my belief, there's a link between sexual precociousness and promiscuity and intelligence. So
Mm.
we need more
But
Lord Byrons.
well, I mean, the idea is that if you do these things, they're going to be birth defects. I mean, you may have heard of
Well,
some remote community in Australia, and they found a whole bunch of people, and they were all obviously incestuously conceived. And you can kind of understand it because it was, right in the outback, and there was just nobody else. I mean, this idea of village idiot. I mean, the village idiot is a product of incestuous unions.
okay. The reason I think most people are not going to practice incest, for those that do, what I'm saying is do it the way we do it with animals. Don't just do it willy-nilly. Make sure that you're properly doing it and you do things like do crossbreeding and you do genetic testing and just like you do with animals to make sure you have incestuous bloodlines that are not sick. You know what I mean? As long as you
Yes,
do it.
avoiding the recessive genes for undesirable characteristics, etc., etc.
What
Yes.
did you say?
I'm trying to remember what I learned from biology, and it's something about the recessive gene and the hemophiles. Okay, I remember something about that, and
Yeah, it's a
it
recessive
happened
gene.
in the European royal families because they
Yeah.
necessarily had to make do with each other because they couldn't marry anyone beneath them, and then hemophilia.
Yes, but in these days you can really check for that. And if you're doing okay, look, there's diseases that do get into domestic animals, but there's not rampant genetic diseases in domesticated inbred cattle. Okay, because it was very properly and precisely done. It wasn't just this one fuck this one. And also, what kind of stock are you starting out with? If they were low class people and they started sleeping, they're just going to make more low class people. I mean, but if you take a good bloodline that has really good characteristics and you do incest, you could create a really champion breed.
And can you give examples of that?
Oh,
I mean,
like
did you say you were doing some course about animal breeding or something? Have you
I
started?
did do a course in animal breeding, and it was nothing that I thought it was. And it was actually kind of boring. And then I bought a book on animal breeding, which I started. And any animal breed, like every if you have a poodle, or if you have a Doberman Pinscher, or if you have a German Shepherd, your dog is like 25% inbred, because you have to do inbreeding to like capture all these weird features like long noses, short tails, ears floppy, ears up, what color are they, all these different kinds of things. So you use inbreeding to create a breed. You need to inbreed to create a very specific breed of dog.
Yes, yes, but with humans it's different because
No, it's not.
there's no. Well, I mean, nobody is breeding us. We're not cattle,
I know,
so.
but I'm saying, my thing is that most people are not going to do this, but I'm trying to spread a religion where it's done scientifically, so that if people do it the way I'm saying, we would get really good results. And hopefully, the only people that are doing incest are going to be people who are doing it very carefully and scientifically.
But you know that the ancient Egyptians practiced it, don't
I know,
you?
but they didn't do it scientifically.
But the characteristics, have to be decided by other people, because
In the family chooses, but the family chooses the best child to bring into the family.
well, it can't be done with that degree of precision, and you
Well, it
know
could be
it.
done. You could get genetic testing, and if you don't have emotional attachment, you don't even have to have sex with each other. It just has to be carrying the child and insemination. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. Um, uh, the
But it's
best.
hugely impractical, isn't
Well,
it?
well, if no, this is only going to be done by dedicated people that understand the system and want to do it. And I'm not saying everyone's going to do it. I'm saying that some people who see the wisdom of it will do.
Well, the wisdom of it is very questionable, isn't it?
Well, I think that there's wisdom in animal breeding, and it makes really stellar animals. And I think I'm just applying the principles of animal breeding to
But you
humans. That's
can't
it.
apply it to humans because it's like if you want cattle or dogs or whatever, you kind of want, oh, I want the wool to be long or I want the nose to be flat or whatever, whatever. These the physical characteristics that you can aim towards. But with humans, what would be those characteristics? You go to what, breed humans with a tail? Or, I mean,
No,
you
not a
don't
tail,
even
but
know.
you could breed them phenotypically. You could make them blonde, blue-eyed. You could make them fair-skinned. You could make them extra dark-skinned. You could, because you could make them aggressive. You could make them passive. You could make them athletic. You can make them more likely to be into mathematics or something like that. You can make them lots of different kinds of things.
But have you heard of what designer babies? I mean, there you go. It's already been done.
Well, designer, yeah, but I mean, there's only that only goes so far. I believe in that too. But, inbreeding, nothing can replace that really right now.
Vincent, you were talking about Jews somewhere, and what was that again?
Rhode Island,
Rhode Island, and what was that about? Sorry, I didn't quite catch it.
they're allowed to practice
That
in,
nieces can marry uncles, and it's
yes,
okay. Judaism, are you sure?
yes, yes.
It's not forbidden.
Mm-mm. It's in the Talmud. No, Judas Fly told me it's not forbidden, but the rabbis get together and have these conventions that have no real power, but whatever, they had a convention and they said in the modern era uncle niece marriages are not valid, though some of them still do it. But
Really?
it's praised in the Talmud.
Okay, this is the first time I've heard of it, but you've heard of Lot and his daughters, haven't you?
Hmm.
So they do practice. I mean, you could say, oh, look at the, Judaism. It actually approves of Lot having sex with his daughters.
No, it doesn't. Oh, it does.
Well, look it up. And then he said, and the descendants of blah people came from, this daughter of Lot and the other one, the one who escaped Sodom and Gomorrah.
Hmm.
His wife turned into a pillar of salt.
Hmm.
Well, it's mentioned. I mean, look it up on Wikipedia. But of course, in the Quran, it says no such thing happened. The Muslims, they say that the Old Testament is a terrible book full of sex and violence, and not anything you would want your children to read.
Who
And
says this? Jews?
Muslims say of the Old Testament that it is full of sex and violence.
Oh, that's what they say.
Yeah.
So they don't like reading it.
Well, I mean, basically, they're saying, "Oh, the Quran is much better," and the Old Testament is filth,
But they
more or
don't
less.
like they think that the Old Testament is not correct, right? That it's been corrupted.
Yes, and yeah, I mean, I guess you would expect Muslims to say the Quran is better than all the other scripture, but that yeah, you'd expect them to say that anyway. But I mean, there are arguments, such as if you're Muslim, you wouldn't be subject to the 36 capital offenses of Judaism. So it won't be, the death penalty at the drop of a hat.
Say that
Because
one more time. I'm sorry. What? What?
I'm saying that Muslims say that their Quran is better than the Torah, and one of the reasons would be that it doesn't contain 36 capital offenses and is rather more forgiving and, less draconian in its punishment, at least in the Quran anyway.
Bubblegum Bubblegum Gun is here. He says a gay black pirate baby, whatever. Sweet Home Alabama. If the Bible is true, incest is the norm. basically what the world is, sex and violence, very Clockwork Orange. I mean, you can't really tell what he's talking about there, but sure. Um, New ahead. Well, okay, but you said the 36 capital offenses, most of them are incest charges.
Yeah, I mean, have a look at them. I mean, they're quite interesting. I find
I
anyway.
know, but okay, so but I don't think Muslims are going to care if there's a capital offense for idolatry, blasphemy, and male homosexuality and adultery. I don't think that that's going to put them off because none of them are doing that. So they're not going to be against the other four. So they like all seven of them. So I don't see why not just be a Noahide and just go all the way. Why go soft core?
What Muslims? I guess Muslims will say, well, we're going to use our book. Our book is the best. Why trust a
Well, it's
Jew?
not Noahide. No, no, no. They want to get rid of idolatry, blasphemy, and homosexuality. They don't want to tolerate it. People, they're done tolerating it, and it's the Christians are done tolerating it, and Islam is not going to do the job. Especially, Islam is coming here, but it's not gonna really do it. It takes more than that. And even atheism is spreading in Islam now in Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. So um, no-hide law is the only mechanism that promises to bring about an almost instantaneous world peace between Muslims and Christians and Jews and Noahides, and to get rid of what they really want to get rid of at the same time. So the only thing that Muslims have to do to change is outlaw idolatry, blasphemy, and homosexuality, and then they're good to go. So they need to edit Islam. They need to add those three commandments to the Quran.
What three commandments? Sorry.
No idolatry, no blasphemy, no homosexuality.
Well, I mean, there is already.
No, it has to come with punishment or the death penalty.
Well, they're not going to change the Quran just because you say so.
Well, then I think they'll go Noahide because then Islam is just not going to get the job done. Islam is not can't usher in world peace and unify all the religions. It just can't do it. It's gonna be that's like a lot of war, and the Noahide is like a peaceful way to do it. That's like not so difficult.
Hmm. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I I really think if it ever came to be a choice between no-hidism and Islam, then the arguments would hot up, and the people would say, well, you know, that one or the other is better, and opinion would be divided. And I don't see how you can just assume that one would be obviously chosen above the other. I mean, even if you have a particular preference, because I mean, the Muslims will just say, well, we don't like it. Obviously the Quran is better, or they just sort of feel invested
Well, the
in the idea
Quran, the
of what
Quran does, the Quran does not hold the same values, and it's more lenient, so it's not as
which is why
stringent.
it's preferred. It is to be preferred.
What?
Which is why it is to be preferred, isn't it? It's more lenient. I mean, that's a plus in its favor.
No, but people want to get rid of idolatry, blasphemy, and homosexuality.
I don't get the feeling at all. I mean, most people can't even get their heads around what is idolatry and why it's
Oh,
bad.
yeah, enough can get around it. I mean, anyone who was raised partially Christian understands. I mean, they understand paganism and so far as idolatry. I mean, and they understand that. So you could get people on board on no idolatry very quickly.
Have you ever discussed idolatry with anyone at all?
Of course, I've discussed idolatry with people.
Apart from
Of
me,
course, all the time. All the
hmm.
time I talk about idolatry because I'm such an idolater.
Yeah, but okay, who do you talk to?
I just
Other
talked to my cousin.
idolaters?
I just talked to my cousin about idolatry. I wasn't raised around her. I talked to her about idolatry. I talked to anyone, I've talked to people online about idolatry. Whenever I talk about the Noahide laws, I talk about idolatry to people.
Okay. So your cousin, is she particularly political? Does she have a
Ah, she's
religion?
she was raised Christian.
Right, but she's no longer Christian.
Yeah, but she knows what a pagan is and she knows that that's wrong.
Right.
Most Christians know what a pagan is and they know that it's wrong. I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
because they read the story about the golden calf and what happened to the people who worshipped the golden calf, and they were executed by Moses.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
know. So they know not to do it.
but the very religion of Christianity is about worshipping.
I know. Well, they don't understand that part, but I mean, all other forms of idolatry, they understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, technically, it's a mortal sin according
Mm,
to Catholic doctrine.
well, I
Well, according to
guess, yeah,
Wikipedia,
yeah,
listing mortal sins.
yeah, it's a mortal sin. It is a mortal sin. So, um, it is a mortal sin. So it needs to be like they understand what I'm saying, and most Christians would agree that idolatry is wrong and that the thing is that Christianity tolerates it, and that's why they're surrounded by idolaters, blasphemers, and homosexuals, and people don't want to deal with that anymore.
Yes, but they should learn from the lesson of okay, they have to learn the lesson of idolatry because it's just so crazy that after so many centuries they're pretending not to know what it is. And it's so crazy that these Jews and Muslims who know it's wrong won't tell these Christians. And I think if God exists, he's just punishing us for, just all these unprincipled Jews and Muslims who ought to know what it is, and but don't want to upset the Christians because they're scared of them.
Yes, that's right, and I think that we should push Muslims to start being anti-Christian, and I think that we should unite Muslims and Jews together on Noahide principles to go after the Christians. Um,
Yes, well,
yes.
that we're both agreed on. But have you been getting any trouble with your new Facebook group?
No, no trouble. I've just been getting a little bit of interest, but I have to start writing a blog, which I have to do to really ruffle some feathers because, there's going to be a lot going on and you know, we gotta
Oh, you expect lots to be going on? Any particular reason?
Oh no, no, I expect to be stirring lots of stuff up by what the propaganda I'm going to be producing. Um, but Judas Fly is helping. We have a Noahide helping. We have a Hindu Zionist and Indian Illuminati member helping. You're kind of helping. So. I think together we can spread Noahidism in India and kind of push out Christianity.
Do you talk? Okay, You used to talk to Christians, and then you said you wish you hadn't because the what was the reason again? I'm afraid I
Because
forgot.
I don't really like them at all, and I speak shit about them constantly, and I'm working to undermine them, and then I'm gonna go up on their show and be like, "Oh, hello," you know what I mean? It's a little bit hypocritical. Like I'm going on this Catholic show. I mean, I don't know. He must know. I don't know. Do you know what's weird, Claire? A lot of people know who I am, but they never talk to me. No one ever talks to me, but all these people know who I am.
You're persona non grata.
Why?
Well, because you're so satanic.
What do you mean I'm
You
so satanic?
well, satanic is it means rebellion from God, and you're obviously doing exactly what God has forbidden, and and that's why people avoid you like the devil that you are.
I thought the devil ruled this age. Shouldn't I be in power if I'm with the devil?
Well, yes, we're not really sure what's going on, are we? Everything is kind of up in the air. Or perhaps it's always been a bit like that. I don't know. It's what was a word for it? Manichean or something.
Hmm. Um, yeah, what was I saying? What was I
That
saying?
you wanted to be on these shows. Could
Oh,
you? Yeah. Why do you want to provoke? Okay, you want to marginalize Christians because they're idolaters, but you're an idolater yourself. So can
yeah.
you explain the rationale behind your?
I'm just using it as a mechanism. I'm playing chess. My opinion is I'd rather go fight with the Noahides than fight with Christians and Muslims. So my plan is to make Christians and Muslims Noahides, and then the fight can take out between the Jews and the pagans or whatever is left after that. And so I'm just saying Muslims and Jews and Noahides, Christians are idolaters, so go after them and get rid of them or convert them.
Hmm. But yeah, I mean, do you see the logistical problem of getting idolaters to unite? Because I keep saying, let's assume that people like Adam Green, they get their way, they kick out the Jews, they kick out the Muslims, they hate the Christians, they become idolaters, and then what's going to happen? I mean, they won't be able to agree on, you know, whose God is the greatest, and then they'll be fighting each other.
Well, no, pagans are a little bit different than that, but I mean, they'd have time to figure things out because we should put them on the Christians first. I mean, I think Christians are not going to resist this. I think Christianity is going to be taken away mostly through conversion and only in the end, anything violent. But, um, what was I saying? Oh God, what was I just saying?
I don't know. You
Uh,
said I didn't really understand it. That's why I can't remember.
what question did you ask me?
Oh, gosh, I've forgotten now. I've forgotten
Oh
now.
no, that's right. You were talking about all the gods fighting, all the pagans fighting over which god is the best. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're less likely to do that, and we're less likely to do that. And as I said, Christians are not going to resist this, except for probably a small minority. They're just going to go through conversion, and the Noahides. I just want them to gain power and prestige and stuff like that. So they become the major monotheistic religion. I just don't want to deal with Christianity and Islam anymore. And I feel so much prepared fighting Noahidism. And I think Noahidism is easier to fight because it's kind of like more very not black and white on paper and like intellectual and fighting in like legal battles and stuff. It's a little bit less like violent and evangelistic. Uh, it's a little bit more legalistic, and so it's a little bit more of an intellectual fight than Islam or Christianity.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah,
I
it's
thought it was the other way. Um, I mean, no hardism. I didn't really, and I wasn't really impressed by the speakers for no hardism. I guess I thought they were kind of well. I don't know. It's sort of oh, but you pronounce the words a bit differently from the Jews, and I assume that the Jews know how to pronounce their Hebrew, and I don't know. It was all kind of stopgap and fake. I guess that's what I thought.
well, their videos are not very good. They don't know how to do it. They have no experience doing it, and they're not very, you know, these rabbis are usually not the most charismatic. And then there's the Noahites that are making videos, but I think they're trying to hide how evil they are by making everything so syrupy and ugh, like this really like happy time sunny time videos, and
I
stuff like
know. But they kind of turn it into a kind of Christian evangelism, but without the Trinity kind of thing,
yeah,
which I find really icky.
I saw that the No Hide World Center, I think it was them that are now starting to make children's cartoons for No Hide children.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound like it's going to be, I don't know, appealing to it.
It's going to be very popular soon. Yes, it is going to be very popular. It's going to be very appealing because it just cuts through the confusion. There's not a lot of confusion there. And it really just gets down to the bare bones, and it makes your society a monotheistic, non-blasphemous place where there are sexual morality laws. And
Okay. Hmm. I mean, I
so
understand the rationale behind it as far as Jews are concerned, but do you know? I mean, they have no form of worship. They're still working it out, right? I mean, do you actually know any Noahites? And they say, and you ask them, well, what do you do? How do how do you worship? How do you,
Well, they're
you know,
making them
your
prayer
thing?
books. They're making them prayer books, and they're giving them ways to worship and things like that. They are. So they're giving them that. But I think pure Noahide, I think they're just doing that because otherwise people wouldn't come in. I think that they're just making this up. I think true Noahidism is no worship, no prayers, no festivals, nothing. No spirituality, nothing like that.
That sounds a bit bleak.
I know, but I think that's what it's supposed to be. I don't think that I don't know. Well, I
Well, the
know
thing
that
is, nobody does. People are just making up the rules as they go along, which is annoying if you want a religion. Because if you want a religion, you want, it's like, oh, I want to know what the rituals are. I don't want you to be just, be working it out when I'm joining you guys. Because then you won't feel that respect for it, because the whole point of religion is like, oh, it's one of the best religions, the oldest religions, and they've been around for such a long time, and that kind of thing. You don't want people to be thinking, oh, what ritual shall we choose, which is basically what the Noahites are doing, right? I mean,
well,
that's what they're
no, the
still working it out.
I well, I mean, so what? There's a lot to work to do, and lots of new stuff. It's a new religion. It's not a new religion, but it's new in that it looks like you can just build on it and kind of do whatever you want with it in certain respects. And there seems to be no real limit to your creativity, because the Gentiles are just supposed to take it and run with it. I mean, the Gentiles are just supposed to receive the laws, and then, they do all the implementation. Israel is not really there to come out of Israel or stringently, they're there to teach it, but they're not there to make sure you're doing it. They're just there to try to get you to do it. And then the Gentiles do it all themselves.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I haven't met any no-hides in the UK, so I think it's just a sort of imaginary thing that's mostly happening in other people's countries and not, not my own.
Well, okay, there's 500,000 Noahides in the world. So this is what I say. There's 500,000 Noahides in the world. I'm right now focusing in on India. So if there's 500,000 Noahides, that means that 1/7 of them, right, or 1/8. How many people live in the world? 8 billion or 7 billion?
Something like seven, I think.
Okay. There's 7 billion people in the world. So what is 1/7? Okay, let's say 1/7 of 50. Let's say what 50 divided by 7. Okay, 7 times 6 is 56, right? So 7 times 5, no. 7 times 7 is 49. Oh, 7 times 7 is 49. So $7 is 1/7 of 50. So if 70, so there should be 70,000 Noahides living in India.
Have you met any online?
Yeah, yes, I have.
Hmm.
And I've seen their videos and stuff like that. They have an evangelistic center.
Hmm. Hmm. I just can't take them seriously, I guess.
I don't think you want to. I think that you just want to think that this is nothing and no one's going to join this because it would be a threat to you, and it's a threat to a lot of people. It's not only a threat, it's just you can't help but also at the same time admire it. So, because it talks to your value system. I mean, you want it, you're trying to say secular Quranism is in compliance with it, which it's not, but you want that
Your,
no
your,
heights.
the sound is getting very bad. The audio is
Oh,
getting really bad. You're
hold on.
bubbling.
Hold on. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes, but the audio is terrible.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. See, is anyone commenting? Um, what was I saying? Um, oh, that yeah, I think that you can't help but admire it, and it is a threat to you. It is a threat with
Well,
the
I keep thinking of John Gischler, right? He felt it was unsatisfactory. He started out as a no-hide, and he converted to Judaism, and now he's Muslim. So I'm a bit confused about what he really is now. And he still talks
yeah.
like a Jew, or he talks in a Jewish way. Hello, you've gone quiet, Vincent. Well, Vincent's gone quiet. I can't hear him, but I think I'm talking. Hi, Vincent.
Hello. Oh,
Yes,
there
yes.
you.
Are you walking around or something?
Yes, I'm going out to get something. Why? You can hear me walking?
I can hear I know it's a bit windy where you are.
Yeah, I'll be out of the wind in a few minutes. Really angry about this band stuff. I mean, it's kind of really ruined my streaming, you know.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be pushing the envelope so much.
No,
Maybe you can
well,
be talking other
oh
things.
please, I'll never get, I'll never accomplish anything. You know, what I need to accomplish is pushing the envelope.
I suppose that is part of you. That's your. Mm, but then you just keep getting banned. Maybe if you
No,
just stick to secular Quranism, you might.
oh please.
Well, as somebody opposing it, I guess.
No, no. I need to get this stuff done. I have, I have work to do.
Mm. You need to be satanic. That's what you are. You know it's basically you're going through a tick list of all the things that you're forbidden to do, and you're just going to do them, right?
Well, no, but
Especially the
I've,
sexual offences.
well, yeah, but I have reasons really to do these things, to be honest with you.
Do you think you are a force for evil, Vincent?
No, no, I do not.
But I suppose you are. Well, I mean, what is forbidden by God must be evil, and what is encouraged by God must be good. And you're just doing the opposite of what God commands.
Um, but yes, but not because God, I'm not doing it because God forbade it.
Why are you doing it then?
Well, because it is what I am. It's like I'm not a homosexual because God forbids it. That's not why I'm a homosexual. I'm a homosexual because I'm a homosexual. You know what I mean? Like, but I am not making these rebellions against God. I'm doing them because they truly are who I am.
So are you? Would it be true to say that you're somebody who wants the best of both worlds?
No, I don't want the best of both worlds. I want I want my world. There's only one world I'm looking for. I'm not there's no two worlds to me.
Well,
There's
I say that because on the one hand you're gay and you're gaily married, but on the other hand you want gay people to have children. So
yeah, I
it's
do.
it's a bit contradictory, isn't it?
Being gay
Because if
and
you
being
really
gay,
wanted to have children, you just say, you know, well, you'd have to be straight and marry a woman and
no.
have children.
Gay men have babies all the time. What are you talking about?
But will they be good fathers? I mean, that is the
Well,
question.
our heterosexuals are not good parents.
Well, they tend to produce better children, or have been given the credit of so doing.
Okay, well, that doesn't mean that that's the way it has to go forever. Nature is not always the best way of doing things.
Well,
Science, okay, what's up?
okay, okay, but are you really kind of saying that you'd like to have children? Is that what it boils down to?
Eventually, yes.
Eventually, you want to settle down and have children.
Well, not no, I want to do it in a polygamous setting, a very organized communal, communal setting, not just.
What does your husband think?
Well, I mean, I would have to, thank you. I would have to arrange it very carefully. I probably couldn't live there because he wouldn't, huh? Yeah, there's still more in there. I'll get them later. Okay. Have a good one. Um, I wouldn't be able to live there. I probably, I think that I would have to have like a house where there were people there at the house, and I would have to live with my husband, and I would have to just go over there for a few hours, during the day or during the evening and stuff like
Just a
that.
few hours to look in
Well,
on your children.
but there would be other people at, other times taking care of the kids. It's not
But
like,
oh, Vincent, I mean, if other people don't care about your children,
yes, they
how
are.
can they care about their
They're
own children?
married to me. What are you talking about? You think polygamous families, the polygamous wives don't take care of each other's children?
They
Do you think
probably,
in Islam, do you think Muslim wives don't take care of each other's children when a man has four wives?
well, they probably don't take care of them as well as they take care of their own children.
I don't think that's true. I think that they get along very well.
Well, I hear that there's a lot of poisoning and you know.
Not a lot. If it, I mean, it's not like happening every day.
Well, I heard an African woman saying that polygamy was pretty terrible because people get jealous and violent and poisonous and
Yeah, well, this is going to be gay guys, so we're not really going to be doing shit like that, Claire. We don't
well,
act like that.
I don't know what you guys get up to, but oh yes,
Not that.
I was looking at somebody was talking about flat share, and then I looked at the website, and it also provided the option of LGBT flat share. Do you have this sort of thing? I guess if you want a polygamous household of the kind that you want, maybe the sort of thing would be your.
Well, that just sounds like having gay roommates, but um,
You got to start somewhere.
well, I know, but well, yeah, like you could be. Well, I've also said like, look, this is for people who like communal child rearing, not for people like you, Claire.
Well, do you even know people like that? I okay. This set me onto a train of thought because I thought, I bet there's more domestic violence in these gay flat shares, and I'm sure if you ask those people who use that kind of website, I mean, they'd probably agree with you. There's sort of more. You know, I can't prove it, of course.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is just a feeling I have. I can't prove it. I guess the only way I can prove it is to ask the police, and they might not cooperate in giving me the statistics. But I mean, the sort of stories like, oh, lesbians who marry, they tend to divorce each other more than gay men who marry. It's stuff I hear like that.
Okay, the divorce rate for heterosexuals is 50%, so I don't really care what you have to say about our divorce rates. Yeah, they might be a little bit higher than yours, but you're in no place to talk to us.
Well, I'm saying the only way to make people stay married is to stigmatize divorce.
Yeah, I know.
And obviously stigmatize divorce between couples who have children. I mean, obviously, if they don't have children, it doesn't matter. And since most gay people won't have children, people don't really care whether they stay together or not. But if they have children, they'd be concerned about their children
Little
turning out
store.
badly if they get divorced.
Well, well, we'll see, Claire. I
Mhm.
mean, it's already starting. It's already happening. Gay people are having kids, adopting. The idea of polygamy is starting to catch on. So it's only a matter of time. I think to say it's not going to happen is a little bit ridiculous. It's just the next step.
Hmm. But you haven't met those people that you talk about, these
Well,
couples. It's just
it's
stuff that you see on TV or videos, but are there really people like that?
but there weren't a lot of open homosexuals in the 60s, and you could have sat and be like, oh, are there really a lot of people like that? I mean, it's starting to grow. It's a growing movement.
Are you eating an ice cream or something?
Yeah.
I can tell. Hmm.
Uh-huh. I shouldn't eat this while I'm on stream, but
Can we
Um,
see?
mm-mm.
What is it called? What is it called? What the ice cream you're having?
It's a
It's a
Klondike
lolly,
bar.
isn't it?
It's a
What?
Klondike. It's a Klondike bar.
Klondike bar. I haven't heard of that. I'll have a look at the picture. You're so
They're-
noisy. You're so noisy.
Oh, eating?
Yeah. Some giant.
Hold on. Hold on a second. Okay, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Oh, so it's coupled with chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's covered in chocolate. Um,
And now your audio is very noisy.
I know now it's very noisy. Do you have oh shit, I want to eat this. Um, do you have something you want to play that's quick for a little bit that we can put on?
Um, we can play something by Rabbi Mizrahi. Um, Carol's in the stream. Carol's in the chat.
Invite her on. Send her the
Okay, perhaps you'll have time to join us. That will be nice because we haven't been together, the three of us, for a while now.
Mhm.
And yes, she shows signs of talking about polyamorous people. Polyamorous people.
Well, I know
Yeah,
she
and I'm
supports.
afraid, I mean, Bubblegum Gun is saying it's Vincent farting into his mic because
No,
that's what it sounds like instead of you eating.
no, it's I have to stop. I have to stop, but it's that's gross. I didn't mean to do that. It's me moving my mic.
I know, because I've heard that sound before, and it's because you keep moving it up. Hmm. Well, I hope Carol can join us soon.
Yeah. Well, I won't eat a second one of these. I'm almost done.
Oh, you mustn't eat two at the same time, one after the other. You have to save it up for later.
Mm-mm. No.
So it's kind of chocolate sandwich. I mean, yeah, it must be a bit messy to eat.
Mm. Mm-mm. No, they're pretty stable.
Mm.
Um.
So you wanted something to what for us to watch? I suppose I can think of something. Uh, well, I'm just going to say something by Rabbi Mizrahi because I like him. Or we can watch. I'm just going through my notifications. Jordan Peterson's Conservative Manifesto. Did you
Okay.
see that? Would you
No.
no? Do you want to watch
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you have to add it to the stream, right?
Okay.
Did you?
It's a stream that's still live and people are watching it now.
Oh,
Um, but so you
aren't
we'll
you
just
gonna share
actually
your?
watch your stream, right?
Yeah. Aren't you gonna show your add your add your screen?
Mhm.
Oh, send it to her email, Claire. Send her the link to the email.
Okay. Okay, I'm putting it in the private chat, the link to Jordan Peterson's.
No, I need you to show it. I can't show it because there's something wrong with my.
Oh, okay.
I need you to put your screen, share your screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Process of outlining a positive vision. Hello, everyone. You today something I've been working on, well, many decades, I would say, really, but more intensely and specifically in the last 4 months. I've reviewed it with a lot of people around the world. It's called a conservative manifesto, and it's an attempt to begin the process of outlining a positive vision for the future on the center, right, and classic liberal front. I decided to entitle it a conservative manifesto. I'd played with the title, something approximating a manifesto of canonical Western virtues, but I felt that was a weaker title, and I also felt that it was time to make a statement on the metaphysical level, let's say, on the center conservative side. Conservatives are very concerned with tradition and community and responsibility, and those are all virtues and values that have been under tremendous pressure in recent years. And so after reviewing both documents, because I wrote 2 versions, one on the canonical Western value side, I decided that the Conservative Manifesto title and conceptualization was stronger. Now, as I said, I'm trying to outline a positive vision for the future, and this is a very difficult thing to do, and this is a test case, I suppose, to see how people respond, because I would like people to respond well. I would like to outline a vision that's very enticing to people, that wouldn't require compulsion to implement, that would get people on board voluntarily. And so anyways, this is a metaphysical inquiry. And so what might that mean? You can think about levels of profundity. At the base, the most profound ideas are theological, for better or worse, by definition, because they deal with what's eternal and sacred. On top of that is a metaphysical foundation, and that's where philosophy lies. And then out of that emerges such things as normative communication and social policy and normative discourse. And so this is a long ways down the scale. Part of the war that's raging around us is, in fact, an argument about cultural fundamentals. And so, well, I'm going to read this. Now, it's long and it's difficult, and I have to read it because it's pushing the limits of my cognitive ability, and I had to write it. I can't do it spontaneously. It's too complex. And so I hope you'll bear with me and you'll find it useful. I suspect it will require several listenings for people who are really committed to it. And you can choose to be committed to it or not as you see fit. So I'm going to launch into it. And it's titled, as I said, A Conservative Manifesto. That's a play a bit on the Communist Manifesto. This is A Conservative Manifesto, so I suppose one among many. And I don't imagine it'll be the last word on that front. It's not designed to be a propaganda tool. It's designed to be an invitation, let's say. And so onward with it. Conservative Manifesto. Introduction. A profound crisis of meaning currently afflicts, destabilizes, and demoralizes the sovereign citizens of the West and the social institutions upon which we depend. That crisis has increasingly spread to the remainder of the world's people, generating confusion and sowing distrust, producing a counterproductive discord in place of the peaceful voluntary cooperation and competition that could instead reign over and unite us. That crisis is, in the first place, the consequence of a corrosive doubt sowed, not least, by the careless intellect regarding the value of the principles of value, aim, and action that have heretofore inspired, guided, and stabilized us. That crisis is, in the second place, the consequence of the historically unprecedented realization of our ignorance about the ultimate source, nature, and reality of those principles, and our resultant inability to formulate and communicate a clear moral justification for their existence. That crisis is, in the third place, the consequence of the presumptuous, premature, and finally, narrowly self-serving insistence arising from that doubt and ignorance, that nothing but the will to power, the willingness and desire to dominate and exploit, motivates all individual perceptions and actions and gives rise to and maintains all social institutions. That crisis is, finally, use of the frustration and resentment that necessarily arises when doubt, ignorance, and intellectual pride combine to demonize, divide, and exploit, to insist upon an impossible and final conceptual certitude, and to demand recognition of a false and unearned moral virtue. That crisis manifests itself in the idolatrous battles, simultaneously petty and terrible, that currently divide our world, in the disputes about identity that lead astray and render hopeless, in the stoking of suspicion between men and women, in the insistence that enmity must divide black, brown, and white, in the subjugation of the education that should enlighten to the ideologies that possess, in the cycle of accusation that threatens the trust upon which peace and prosperity necessarily depends, and in the panicked, anti-human, apocalyptic doomsaying
Vincent, you
that
might
undermines
want
the spirit
to
of our sons and daughters.
mute yourself.
What can those of us who attempt to abide by and manifest a courageous faith in the traditional values of our past offer in such times? Not the thoughtless and instrumental appeal to cynicism and bitterness associated with the insistence that our social and political institutions are fundamentally unreliable, corrupt, and untrustworthy. Not the harsh and condemnatory exhortation or demand to accept and uphold a moral code noteworthy only for its joylessness, sterility, and tendency to forbid and damn. Instead, the confident and forthright transmission of the abandoned eternal verities to all of those who currently wander, thirst, and starve in their absence. What are the values of paramount importance to the conservative temperament currently crying out for rediscovery, reconsideration, and discussion? An inevitably incomplete but crucially necessary list might include humility, liberty, autonomy, truth, agency, identity, merit, responsibility, tradition, community, stewardship, justice, and unity. To that list might be profitably appended a set of propositions about the true nature and source of absolute privation, the inevitability of economic inequality, and the practical realities of the individual competence upon which psychological integrity and social contract equally and mutually depend. Humility. Humility is the opposite of the prideful, authoritarian arrogance that insists upon the possession of comprehensive and final skill and knowledge. To revere humility is to accept the insufficiency of current presumption, to acknowledge the value of attending to what is not yet known, to listen to, value, and attempt to truly understand the opinions of others, no matter how ill-formed, to strive to gain further knowledge, and to convince and invite instead of insisting and compelling. Humility is therefore a fundamental precondition for learning, for the revivifying, meaningful engagement that learning produces, and for the maintenance and renovation of what has already been validly learned, established, and universally valued. Liberty. Liberty is valuable not because it enables the hedonism that heedlessly sacrifices the future and the community to the narrowly conceptualized present and the impulsive needs and wants of the individual. Liberty is valuable because it allows all free and unique people the opportunity to best confront the potential of the future, to engage in the voluntary, productive, reciprocal interactions that make peaceful, mutually sustaining social life possible, to speak the truth that redeems and renews, and to adopt the responsibility of citizenship and ethical endeavor. Liberty enables people to think authentically and without arbitrary constraints, privately and publicly. Liberty allows people to employ that unconstrained, authentic thought to imagine a diverse set of possibilities, to singly and jointly assess, criticize, prioritize, and improve them, and to choose from those diverse, criticized, and improved possibilities the most evidently valuable, compelling path forward. Autonomy.
Okay, Claire,
The
let's
emerging
stop this
problems
now.
that constantly beset us and simultaneously offer new opportunities.
Carol's here. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, guys.
You know, that I would have liked to hear more of that, only in so much of that, in my opinion, it's a train wreck. It was so highfalutin philosophy and big words and, you know, these like it wasn't really practical. It was like talking to emotion, and it wasn't very nuts and bolts. You know what I mean? Like leftist propaganda tends to be like, this is what's happening, and here's what we do about it, and this is the exact problem. Like, he got into all kinds of like helicopter going up in the helicopter with the intellectualism and stuff like that.
Just sounded like a reason little lecture people would have before they do a wine tasting to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just I mean, it's very weak. The American right wing propaganda and movement is very weak when it comes to, um, because they're trying to defend something that came with a lot of problems, and so people point out these problems, and then it's hard for them to necessarily avoid that. So, they're trying to say, well, okay, this thing that had all these problems, we want to keep it going. We know it's wrong some people, but we just wanted to keep going. But when people come like, oh, this is based in racism, that is based in racism, this is, was unethical, that was unethical. It's hard for them to really respond. I think a lot of these people want to say something that they really can't. Um, Obviously, a lot of them do want to be racist. They wish they could, but they can't. And so, I'm not saying all of them or even most of them, but, enough of them or homophobic or misogynistic. And they kind of have to hold it close. And they're really cramped. They want to push forward their agenda, but they don't know how. And they just get this really cramped style that yeah, they're cramped.
Well, I think you just watched too many introductions to Masterpiece Theater.
Yeah, it did seem like that, didn't it?
Yeah, it's a kind of
So,
that's what it kind of reminded me of a little bit.
so Carol, you're the spokeswoman for secular Quranism in the USA now?
I guess. Yeah. Why not? Somebody has to do it, Vincent. That's right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, I was just so last time we talked, you barely knew about them. Have you learned anything about the Noahide laws?
Well, I mean, if I have the list in front of me, yeah, I knew what they were before you guys were talking about. I just don't know the rest of them, the 300 or whatever that go with it. But I've seen that before.
Okay.
But I
So
don't have it memorized. I don't have it
my
memorized.
thing is, I think Noahidism is going to be more popular than Islam.
Oh! You mean as for people joining it? Is that
Yeah.
what you meant me about? No, I don't see any reason to join a religion where you're having another religion on top of it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you can be a Noahide, but then you're going to ask, then Jews are going to explain to you how to do it. I mean, you might as well just become Jewish if you're that into it. Is how I see it. I mean, if you don't want to follow all the rules, you could become a Reformed Jew and just skip half of them.
Well, they don't want to be. They don't want to. Well, the thing is, these people are conservatives. They don't want to be Reformed Jews, but they don't want to go all the way and be Jews either. So it works for people who want the conservativeness of Orthodox Jewry without actually having to follow all those bizarre, crazy
Yeah,
lifestyles.
I get that, but I don't know why they don't have their own. Let me see, how can I put it? I don't know why they don't have uh their own type of rabbis in. I don't know why they're using
They
Orthodox
do.
rabbis
No,
for it.
there's no high judges and stuff like that. Yeah, they're supposed to run their own societies. The Jews are the priestly class that just teach them the Noahide laws.
Yeah, I don't I think they would just teach themselves. I'm just not that's just my feeling about it. I wouldn't join something if I wasn't a full-fledged member of it, I guess. To me,
What do you
I,
do?
I see it as sort of Judaism light for no reason to exist.
Wasn't that what secular Quranism is?
No, secular Quranism is a secular.
Yeah, but isn't it like
and-
Islam light? Claire always says secular Quranism is Islam light.
Well, she's calling it that if she wants to do it. I see it as using the Quran as a way to fully use a religious context to affect secular law, which is allowed in the United States. I see it as more, people see separation of church and state as, okay, the two have to be separate. That's not what it meant. It meant that the religious couldn't be bothered by the state, but the religious can bother the state. So I don't have any problem with people getting their ideas from the Quran. I don't care where they're getting their ideas from if it's going to change the country into something better. So that's how I see it. I see it's secular Quranism because the Quran is a religious scripture that is being used to have an effect on secular law. And it's not inconsistent with our Constitution at all.
That's interesting that you say that, because that's exactly what a lot of Noahides say. First of all, a lot of them try to say that Noahidism is not a religion. And then these proclamations that they got passed in the government, recognizing these Noahide laws, they got them passed not as religion, but as education. So they rename it and they get it, they get it in there. But I mean, let me tell you something, they're way far ahead of Muslims, when it comes to getting world leadership on the side, global world leadership on their side, saying we're going to support you in this. I mean, the U.S. government supports the Noahide laws. It doesn't support Islam. I mean, the U.S. government officially was founded on the Noahide laws, according to the U.S. government.
Well, it doesn't matter what it was. And it matters how the understanding of separation churches state is. And constitutional law experts say that amendment has to do with protecting the religious from the state. And secular Quranism is basically acknowledging the use of a religious scripture to have an effect on secular law. And it's not religion because it's not involving God, but it can be religion from the definition of one of the dictionaries if somebody wants to do that and say they're following the law in that way because that's what they're using for, how can I put it? For like Unitarian Universalists, for example. Sometimes they say, well, they don't count as a religion because they're not really asking anyone to believe anything. Right? But, about God. You don't have to believe about God. You can be an atheist and be a Unitarian Universalist. Okay, so secular Quranism, I don't see it as a religion in the sense of demanding a belief in God. But if somebody wants to make that their code of moral behavior from that stance, they can, I guess. Because there's different definition of what exactly is a religion in those dictionaries. One of them does not demand anything about belief in God. Hello?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But the whole idea is that religious people in the United States need to start thinking about their religion and not apologize for it or trying to find secular arguments to justify anything. They could say, that's just what I think and that's what my religion thinks and I want this law changed. They don't have to keep trying to pretend that they're coming up with a secular argument. It's enough just to say we find this repulsive, we don't want it anymore. And
I know, but if there's no secular reason for, okay, let's say you're saying I find gay marriage to be repulsive and I don't want it anymore. Okay, you have no rational reason for being against it. All you have is a religious reason for being against it.
And that's a fine reason. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't have to make excuses about a religion. And I don't think people have to keep making excuses about that they want conservatism.
I know, but where we have separation of church and state, the state is not likely to make laws based on people's religious preferences. We live in a republic, so in a republic, there are rules that protect you, that even if the democracy, even if all of the country wants to take a right away from you, they can't. So even if all the country wanted to vote black people back into slavery, they can't. It's a republic. There's rules that protect you from the tyranny of the majority. So you can't just, in a republic, you can't just take away people's rights because you have a religious opinion and you're the majority.
Well, they're taking away people's rights for other reasons.
Like what?
Well, like forcing vaccines on people.
Okay, well, that's a little bit different.
Why is
I
it
mean,
different, Vincent?
well, because that's not
That's the
between two.
government being used to
No,
oppress people.
gay marriage isn't used to oppress people.
I don't know. It is. I think what people want to do behind closed doors. People need to keep their sexual activity in their homes, not all over the street and
Well,
in public. And they don't need to keep talking about it with elementary school kids. Okay, so I'm not against. If some gay people are in a house doing something and they're not bothering anybody with it, there's
what
nothing
about gay
wrong with doing
marriage? What
that.
about gay marriage? What's wrong with gay marriage? We're not going out in the streets and having sex with
Because we
anyone
need to promote conservatism, and we
based
need to
on your
promote
religious
family,
opinion.
and we need to promote the idea that children have a right to have the genetic gene pool that created them, bringing them up. And this divorce thing has gone too far. All this stuff has gone too far. At a very low level, it probably was okay, but this has gone too far. That you have this many kids that are not being brought up in really stable homes. It has gone too far. And
Well,
it's got to the point that instability is seen as the new norm, which isn't helping any of these kids. It's not helping the country. It's not providing the people that would make a strong military. It's not the kind of people that can defend the nation. So it's crazy. Now, you want me to find some logical argument about it? Well, look around. Now all this stuff that's going on, I don't know anybody who's encouraging their son to go in the military. Okay, they don't want their 18-year-old with a gay sergeant maybe coming after them in a platoon.
oh, please, that's ridiculous. That you think people are not letting their sons go to?
I have seen this stuff.
That's absurd.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. You don't want a gay guy hitting on your son.
Because you know what? Nobody wants the sergeant hitting on the private girls either.
Yeah, well,
And it goes on all the time. All the time. If everything is going to be open and out and everybody can do any kind of sexual thing they want, the military.
No, it's inappropriate.
It's inappropriate in the military. It's inappropriate in the military.
Yeah, so he could get in trouble for doing that. So I mean, they're protected.
No, they're not. No. If it's going to be wide open like that, nobody's saying anything. What you want is people to have the feeling
they can report him.
My sonny boy can go in the military and be a man. It used to be people used to tell their kid, like to say they had a son that was kind of not doing too much. You need to go in the military for a few years, get straightened out. Okay? They used to give you if you got in trouble, like let's say you stole a golf cart and was cruising around in it one night and you got picked up by the cops or taken in the judge says, you're being a little bit on the ne'er-do-well side. Why don't you we're going to drop these charges if you go sign up for the military a little bit. This is what people used to tell their kids here. There were consequences for being an idiot. But nobody is going to tell their son to go in the military now.
It's not because there's a gay sergeant. It's because
sure it is.
No, it's not.
It is. Of course it is.
Then they're idiots. Then good. We don't need their kids in the army.
Well, okay, then you
let their kids remain ne'er-do-wells. Let your kids go to jail. Maybe that's why your kids are fucking up, because that's the way you're bringing them up. Maybe that's why they're fucked up, because you're so stupid. You wouldn't send them to the army because there's a
military. Vincent, how many of your friends going to go join the military?
Well, if you're if you're not going to let your kids into the military because someone there might be gay, then
I wouldn't encourage them to do it. It used to be parents encourage their sons.
Okay, but you're not doing it because you're scared someone there's gay. So that's a stupid reason.
I wouldn't encourage any.
Okay, but that's a stupid reason not to send them into the military.
You don't like it, Vincent, because you don't like it. You don't like it.
No, well, it's stupid. It's your own fault.
Who do you know?
It's
Two
your
of your
own fault.
bonobo friends want to go join the military.
I just don't, it doesn't need to be my friends. There's plenty of people that want to join the military that do it despite the fact that there might be a gay person, and there's lots of gay people who join the
Doesn't
military.
have to do with being a gay person. It has to be with openly gay, being encouraged.
Not
It
encouraged
doesn't
openly. Yeah, it's not.
necessarily.
It's just allowed. It's allowed now. You
This
just
stuff shouldn't be this stuff.
yeah. Well, you
Dating
just
across ranks and this stuff in the military was not allowed before. They got lax. They started getting lax at Vietnam. Okay? They started getting lax about this stuff. It's not okay a sergeant dating a private. It's not okay an
well, that's
officer dating a sergeant. This stuff was never okay in the military, but it's all being whitewashed and going on now. And you don't want to be around a bunch of people with guns and somebody trying to hit on you sexually when you got a lot of weapons around, Vincent. That's exactly what you don't want having going
I
on.
think that homosexuals understand that and are in control of themselves.
I'm not aware of that.
Well, I'm not aware of like
How
rampant.
they all in control of themselves, Vincent?
Well, I'm not aware. Also, there's no like complaints about rampant sexual harassment from gay.
There is
Uh,
a lot of sexual harassment in the military.
okay, well, it's not
Most of the
like
women don't talk about it. Women recruits are told not to walk around army bases by themselves. Okay, there's a lot of harassment on a military base.
okay. So then it's straight people too. So then stop
I
this
don't
focus.
care. It doesn't matter this, that. Oh, it's these people too. You want a fighting machine? You fix the military up. You fix it up with a bunch of men who are willing to go out and tear people apart. That's
Well,
what
yeah,
the military is.
yeah. Well, I think
I
homosexuals do
don't
it
think some
better.
guy
Look, we
exploring
make
his sexuality and saying, okay, by the way, I'm gay. I need some shots now to keep my hormone treatments up. Is what you need in the military. They don't
no.
need any of that in the military.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
homosexuals make better serial killers. I think we're more vicious. I think that if you let us have more control, we'll just do it more fucked up, more bombs, kill the babies, kill the kids, that kind of shit. So I think the military is actually a lot better under our leadership.
Well,
We're
maybe
more
they can have a
organized.
gay brigade or something.
I don't know why you need a gay brigade. I mean, I'm not necessarily against that, but
Well,
I
I'm
don't
just saying, why does everybody have to
Well,
be
you
sitting
should be
around
able.
people exploring their
Wait,
sexuality all the time? What's wrong with everybody?
there are open heterosexuals all in the military. So why can't you be an open homosexual in the military?
Because it's not good for morale, and because people don't want to be around them with their guns, and because people are sexually trying to oppress people, Vincent.
No one's trying to
Because the
sexually oppress
military is
anyone.
not a bunch of well-behaved people. Okay? It's not. Women are sexually assaulted in the military sometimes, and they keep their mouths shut when it's upper cadre. This is a fact. Everybody knows it. Okay, so we don't want all this going on. I'm just saying, I think a conservative person in America who believes people's sexual activities need to stay in the home are not going to be on the same page of sending their sonny boys off to join a military that has become overly sensitive to this point that they think that a sergeant might come after them. And I'm sorry, this rank is important in the military. And if they don't get back to this officer corps, back to the conservative ideas it used to have, this entire military is going to fall apart.
Well,
Right now, nobody wants to sign their kids up. Almost no one is going now. Don't ask, don't tell was one thing, but what's going on now? No, they're not going to tell their 18-year-old son or 17-year-old son, we want you to go in the military for a few years. They're not going to do it.
Well,
A
non-homophobic
great number
parents.
of people won't do it. So do they want people in the military? Does the United States want a military anymore? I don't know. They're closing off military airstrips for no reason.
Well, there's a lot of people.
The military.
There's a lot of people.
I don't really care if it's sensitive and gay people think this isn't very, very sensitive to them. I'm more concerned about a really hardcore hardcore military. That's something. Yeah, the greatest military in the world, and it's starting to look like a bunch of morons. Those are the best minds in the country. Those
Okay,
upper
what
cadre, the best
okay,
minds.
what needs to happen is
And
that
they're
the
fleeing
morality
out, they're leaving, they're
the
retiring
the
early.
morality needs to become much more pagan and like it was in Babylon with Ishtar, and I mean there was a lot of
Oh
homosexuality going on in
God.
Babylon.
Okay, look, I
And
just don't agree with this stuff, Vincent. I don't really care what goes on in your house and stuff. I do care about the
yeah,
U.S.
I know. Well, I'm just saying I'm doing it a different way and I'm coming from a different strategy. And I'm saying we need to become more like vicious, violent homosexual pagans were and not back to whatever Islam. I'm just saying become more vicious. Don't don't make the
In a
military
dress,
soft. No,
you got to
I
become
don't make
more vicious in a dress.
don't make the military softer, make it more vicious is what I'm saying. And a homosexual could be more vicious than a heterosexual. We do everything more than you do. That's why you don't like us. We do everything more than you do.
Vincent, it has nothing to do with liking. It has to do with building a military. The best defenders are married men with children, and that's a fact. Okay, it's a
Actually, I
fact.
heard a
It
lot. I
changes
heard
how they even vote.
actually I heard that ISIS, a lot of their commanders are childless homosexuals. That's what I heard.
ISIS is the old Ba'athist party. ISIS doesn't have anything to do with anything. We're talking about the United States. We're
I
talking
know,
about changing this here.
but
Who
I
cares
mean,
about
they're
ISIS?
like homosexuals can make very good leaders that and if they do, they can make very good leaders. I think they can make exceptional leaders, and I think that they think in ways and can do things that heterosexuals just can't. And I think that if we get the right, this is first wave homofascism. We're a little bit pink and rainbow and stuff like that, but second, third wave homofascism is going to be a little bit more scary.
Well, I don't want to live in a fascist country.
Well, I
I don't
don't
care
mean
if
like
it's a
real
pink
fat.
fascist. What do you
I
mean
don't
then?
mean
What do you
real
mean?
fascism.
What do
Cultural
you mean?
fascism.
What cultural fascism? We're going to
Mm.
push the pinko on everybody now?
No, it's something more like something. Okay, here's something that I support. If you are anti-homosexual and you have a homosexual child, and it's found that you are making it in any way feel uncomfortable about its sexuality. Number one, the child should be taken away from you. Number two, you should be fined, and number three, you should have to have jail time for child abuse.
Oh, well, Vincent, I want these really stable people in the military, okay? Not somebody that's centering their whole life around whether Sonny Boy wants to wear a dress or not, or move in with his gay boyfriend, or start starting a bonobo farm. I mean, I don't have anything against you personally, okay? But this is not the stuff you make a military with. Okay, it just isn't. So now I'm going to go in the military because I don't have enough money to keep paying for my sex change shots and stuff. So now I'm going to go in. Now we don't need this. This has gotten insane. The whole thing. You want stable men. You want men who have families. You want men who have wives that think they need to defend their families, who think they need to defend their nation, who think their nation is the most important and they're willing to die for it. That is what you need in the military. Not people trying to do their political statements talking about how some gay people had their feelings hurt.
It's not
Okay?
having our feelings hurt. We were just denied basic human
Well, okay,
rights.
get over it. Okay? I don't know.
No, you get over it. Let's take away. No, it's time for. We're going to
Nobody
take away.
gets to
Okay,
do,
you're not go. We're going to
nobody
take away
gets to
your
do,
rights. You're not going to
nobody
have the
gets
right to
to
raise
do,
a child.
listen to
You're
me.
not going to have the right
Nobody
to raise a
gets to do,
child.
what's going on right now is you have children telling their parents how they're going to live. Children don't have that right because they're not paying for anything. Okay? They're living under their parents. And the parents have like almost zero authority now because some teachers think they know better in school. This is insanity. If somebody is gay and they had straight parents and their straight parents don't like it, then the kid, okay, that's sad. everybody is going to have some kind of battle with their parents by the time they come
No,
adults when
you
they
don't get.
do
No, you don't get
something
to
that
make
they
them.
don't want to
You don't
do.
get to abuse them. You get your children taken away for child abuse. You can't
I
abuse a
don't know what
child.
you're talking about as abuse. Okay, I
It is
don't
child abuse.
know.
I was
I
abused when
don't know
my
what.
parents tried to
Oh
steer me
God, I
away
don't
from
want
it.
to
That
hear
was
it again.
child abuse.
I already
It's
heard this
child
stuff
abuse.
before.
It's child
Okay,
abuse.
because you weren't allowed to
It's
have sex with other kids when
no.
you were
It's
a kid. I
child
don't
abuse.
care.
It's a child
That's
abuse. Well,
it's remote.
we're
You're not
winning.
able to take
We're
care of the
winning.
kids.
We're at top. It's only going our way further from here. It's not getting your way. It just gets worse
Vincent,
from here,
why did
Carol.
you have me come on? Why am I on here?
I didn't ask you to come on here.
Okay,
Claire
what's the problem? What's the deal?
sent
Okay,
you a link.
I do
Excuse. Oh,
not
see,
agree
you can't deal with. You
any of this
can't.
stuff you say.
Yeah,
Any of
I
it.
know. That's a
And I
really
don't
deep.
have to have a reason. I don't even have to say it's because of religion.
I know, but you're.
It's
I
because
know
of
you're just.
common
Yeah, but you just think
sense.
your child abuse is acceptable.
I didn't say anything about my child abuse.
Yes, you do. You believe that. You believe
I don't
that
think
making your child uncomfortable for being a homosexual is not child abuse, and it
I
is.
think it's ridiculous to say that it's child abuse for children to be brought up under stable rules in a family where both their genetic gene pool parents are there bringing them up.
No,
I
you
don't
don't get
see
to.
that
You
as
don't get to.
abuse.
You don't get to make your child feel uncomfortable for being a homosexual. You don't get to
Well, what
do
do I
that.
get to make them feel uncomfortable for? How about robbing the guy
Not
next
for.
door?
Not for
Can they
their.
feel
You can't do it.
uncomfortable for that? Can I make
You
them feel
can't.
uncomfortable
You
for that?
you can't make them feel
What?
uncomfortable for their race, how they look.
Can
You know.
I?
You
Can I make them
no.
uncomfortable over what they do? They go rob the people next door. Can I make
Yeah,
them
they
feel
can.
uncomfortable?
Obviously, nobody's saying if they're committing oral
Can I
crime.
make them uncomfortable, Vincent, because they're making passes at kids in school? Do I have any say about that over my kid? Oh, yeah, he just wants to make passes at other kids, so that's okay. Am I allowed as a parent to maybe tell my kid this is bad behavior? You're not an adult. Is that making them
I think they
feel
need to be
bad?
taught. I think they need to be taught that there's a time and place to do that.
Okay, by who? By some teachers in the school?
And the parent, if they're
Oh, okay, the
responsible.
parents. So the parents have some authority here then, right?
I know, but to tell your child their
Yeah,
sexuality is
tell their
wrong.
child, you keep your sexuality in your pants. You're too young to be messing around like that. You don't even have all your hormones yet. You grow up, become an adult, and make adult decisions instead of playing adult when you're about 15 years old.
Well,
15-year-olds
children are
are
a
not
lot more.
adults.
Maybe if they were treated like they were more advanced and guided a little bit better,
To be
they would
legally
be.
adults,
They
Vincent,
would be
because
advanced.
there's no reason why parents have to be paying the bills for other adults. If you think they're 15 as adults, have them lower the age of what's an adult in this country so these parents can quit paying their bills. Okay,
Oh,
this is
not all
becoming
parents want to
ridiculous.
quit
If
paying.
I go to
Not
work
all
for
parents
him,
want to quit paying for the child just because it had sex, Carol. That's a fucked up idea.
is that what I just said, Vincent?
Why would you want to
Didn't
lower?
you just
No,
change what I said? I
no.
said
You told me to.
if you think 15-year-olds are adults, get the law changed so they are adults, and then we don't have to pay their
Well, I
bills
know. I'm
anymore.
saying adults don't need. You don't need to be an adult to have sex. Is what I'm saying.
Well, they certainly do.
Well, I know, and I'm in support of it.
So I think they need to be adults. They need to be adults. It's an adult decision.
Okay, well, that's a different question from
No, it's
actually.
not. This is what I'm
No,
talking about.
it's a
This is
different
what I'm talking
question.
about, Vincent.
It's a
I'm
different
talking
question.
about adults being adults, and I'm talking about kids understanding that they're not adults.
Okay, what's adult about sex? I wanted sex when I was a child, so what's so adult about it?
Oh, well, okay. I wanted a car when I was 12, Vincent.
Excuse me, that's different.
Really? Why? Because
Yeah.
that's what you want, and that's what I wanted.
No, because
Okay, how about? Okay, I want to take drugs when I'm 13. Okay, a parent can stop their kid
well,
from that. That's okay.
that will harm your body.
Well, so we're having sex with a bunch of
No,
people.
it won't.
Sure
Not
it
if
was.
okay, if it was done carefully. See,
Oh God.
like if
Now we got 13-year-olds decide what's being done carefully. And now
no,
we're
if
gonna
the
get into
parents,
you
if
talking
it were
about
legal, the
voyeurism.
parents could be involved. The parents could make a clean, safe space for
Isn't that
them.
so voyeuristic? How about just telling them when they're old enough and they can move out and take care of themselves, they can make adult decisions. But as long as you're living off of somebody else's dime, you're going to have to follow some rules.
Okay, but that's not everybody's rule, so that doesn't work for
Okay.
everyone.
Well, that, but who really needs to be arrested here are the people suggesting and encouraging kids to have sex. Those are the people that need to go to jail, not the parents who are telling their kids don't do that.
Well, that's the way it's gonna go, so
Well,
be
that's the way
prepared.
it's gonna go. Oh, that's the way it's gonna go.
Well,
Maybe or
how much
maybe
power
not.
do
I
people
don't know.
like you have? How much power do people like you have these days?
It doesn't look like a lot, Vincent. I live
No,
in
it doesn't look like a
California.
lot. Doesn't look
Okay.
like a lot.
Yeah, that's right. I know people leaving the state
Yeah,
just
so
because of it.
maybe you should be a little bit more scared than that.
And do
Maybe
I
you
need
should
have a reason to be scared, Vincent? Are a bunch of bonobos going to show up over here and beat me up at my house? What do
well,
I need to be scared about?
like I
Explain to me what
said,
I need to be scared
I
about.
told you second and third wave
I don't want
homofascism
to
is going
go
to be
to the park.
scary.
I went to the park babysitting a kid one day, and there was two people having sex behind the building. Okay, this stuff it's just gotten ridiculous. What's going
Well,
on?
the only reason I'm against public sex is because it's a safety issue because you're excreting, fluids that could possibly have diseases in them. So that's a public safety issue. But I do believe in
I don't
public
think
pornography.
adults encouraging underage people who are not considered legally adults in a country to engage in sexual activity are the people you want around your kids. Comes down to that, Vincent. That's
Okay,
not
but
what I want hanging around my kids. I want someone hanging around my kids, encouraging them to engage in sexual activity when they're like
well,
13,
okay,
14, 15.
Carol, let's talk about what's going on the ground because if you look at any high school, they're all having sex.
I don't know why anyone's using these high schools. And I'm talking about elementary school, and it's a circus here. This state is a total circus. Okay, this is not okay that teachers are going up to students and telling them it's okay as long as you like somebody, if you really care for them. This is not what you need to tell young people. We're ending up with a bunch of children that nobody are taking care of in a stable
They're being taken
manner.
care of.
No, they're not. They are
They're just
not.
not no longer being
No,
abused.
they're not being taken care of, Vincent.
Wait, you don't understand. All of these people that are pushing for this feel as though they were abused for their sexuality not being validated when they were
I don't
children.
think they need to use an elementary school or validate their personal sexual issues. Okay? That
No,
doesn't belong in the
because
school.
they know there's other children that need sexual
It's
liberation like
not
they
their
needed it.
business. They are
Yes, okay.
undermining.
Okay,
Listen,
you look,
Vincent,
that's like
Vincent,
saying
Vincent,
that's
Vincent,
like
Vincent, 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 Vincent. They're undermining parental authority. What makes them think they know better?
well,
Because they had an
schools
abuse
have
background? No. They need to butt out of parental authority. It's gotten to the point now there's almost none. And I don't know why anyone's sending their kids to the schools anymore.
because they have no choice.
Sure they do.
Because where are they going to? They're all going to send them to private schools with what money?
Well, it's kind of interesting. You actually can in California get your kids on a private school, but it is the state's private schools the problem. You can do not private school on the internet. You can do on the internet school with your children in California. They got a bunch of charter schools that are set up like that so you don't have to send them on campus anymore. Some people pull themselves out. Some people pay for out of state homeschooling programs. Yeah, money is an issue about that, and some people start charter schools themselves. Okay, but yeah, there is no reason anybody in California can't get some kind of an education going for their children unless they don't have enough education to get them through the elementary school years. because some it's true, some people can't teach the subjects on all the elementary school levels to their children, or they are overwhelmed with how to do it. But there are plenty of churches that are running homeschool stuff now. It's all over the state. People have been pulling them out. And the reason the state itself even has homeschooling is because so many people were pulling their children out of school and they wanted access to see those kids. I talked to them. I had my kids used to be on homeschooling for a while. I talked to the lady that ran the program, and she said the whole reason it was started was there was all these children, and the state wanted to see if these kids were even okay. And that's how the state started doing it. But you can sign up for accredited out of state homeschooling for your children if you have the money. Money is always going to be a problem. But people can do that. And there is no
Yeah,
reason
well,
most
this is all
people.
very inconvenient. Most people are not going to jump through hoops like this.
I would. I did, and it wasn't
But
the
most
schools
people
weren't even.
aren't.
But
Most
listen,
people.
Vincent, the schools were nowhere near as bad when I did it. I think the parents are negligent to the point that maybe they should be arrested for sending their kids to these public schools now. That's how bad I think the situation is.
Yeah, oh, that's your plan? That's a really good plan.
Well, I'm just telling you why my feeling about it is you seem to think everyone should go to these schools because it's inevitable the whole world's going to go that way. I think it's the most irresponsible parenting I've ever seen. And I feel I do feel sadness over the people that can't figure out how to do it or don't have the time because both people are working all the time and stuff. People have to come together. One of the best ways to do it is in some sort of a religious community where they can help each other, because that's one of the last communities in the United States that are disappearing.
Okay, well,
Religious
let me tell you.
community is really important. So you have Jews that get together and they homeschool as a block children. There's Christians doing it all over the place. They do it all over the place, and Muslims do it. Some of them, and they're pulling their children out. And is it the best education? I don't know, but I think it's better than going to school all day long so everybody can explore their sexuality. I don't know what the heck they're even learning. Okay, I had a substandard education for no reason except a lot of time was wasted in school. Okay, I consider my education substandard than what I could have had. Okay, so I think I think conservatism is the way to go. I think people understand the rules in that. The rules don't keep changing. People understand that they have to behave a certain way to function in a society, and then as adults they can decide what they want to do about a lot of things. And they're more educated
Like,
when
okay,
they make
don't.
those decisions.
Okay, you obviously agree that there is such a thing as child abuse that exists, and that there are certain situations where
Yeah,
a
but
child.
most of these things that people are calling child abuse is really promoting this liberal agenda that almost everything is considered abuse. What's abusive is having parents that keep changing the rules.
Okay, do you think it's abusive? Let's say your child was born with a birthmark. Do you think it's abusive to make your child feel bad about that? Hello?
What's the argument you're going to have? Someone's going to make somebody feel bad about a birthmark.
No, okay. Does a parent have the right to make their
A
child
parent
feel
has the
bad?
right to tell their kids no sex until you're an adult.
Okay, but do they have the right to tell a child that they're ugly because they have a birthmark?
I think it's a pretty creepy thing to do. I don't know why you would tell someone they're ugly with a birthmark.
Okay,
But I
okay.
don't think, but you're not promoting that, Vincent. What you're promoting is young people having sex and the parents having no right to say no. The parents should have a right to tell their children no sex. They're too young for sex. Most parents want to tell their kids that, but they don't think their kids will do that. That's the problem. So if you got a society and you got a bunch of parents who cannot control their children having sex because you have a school that is encouraging sex, you have a media that's encouraging sex, and then you got a bunch of people that are classifying this as being abusive, that they can't have sex. No, this is what's wrong. They should be told no sex, all levels of sex, not just gay sex. They shouldn't be having straight sex with anyone. They're not adults. They can't take care of the kids they have, if they have any. They're expecting their parents to take care of them, their grandparents, somebody else. Somebody else is going to come in their life because there's no way that relationship's going to last for the next 20 years. Okay? The parental authority should be no sex, not some sex. What they're all being told now is, okay, some sex, but don't have a kid. Doesn't make any sense.
Well,
This
yeah,
isn't
don't have
stability.
children.
This isn't kids learning to have stable relationships. This isn't children learning that, yeah, we have to be responsible. This is kids having kids in school. And then, things just start working out as nice as it could when they became adults. This is wrong. The whole thing is wrong. This isn't a thing just between straight and gay people. This has to do with a conservative lifestyle that creates adults who can make adult decisions, who have the best educations they can get going to school, and it's not that anywhere at all. It's crazy. This is ridiculous. If somebody wants to be gay and they decide as an adult, I'm going to be gay, I'm going to live with my boyfriend, we're going to get a house together, it's not even illegal to do that.
Well, look, actually, okay, I'll give you this. I believe a parent has a right to tell their child no sex in that the same way
I
they're allowed
think a
to.
parent has a right to enforce it, Vincent.
Well, yes.
Well, yeah,
Wait,
well,
okay.
no.
Excuse me. You don't have to be a bitch just because I'm agreeing with you.
I'm saying, why not? Because you're doing the same thing to me.
I'm not
Look, this is
acting like an
very
asshole
serious.
to you.
This is
I'm not
serious.
acting like an asshole to you. I'm not making fun of you.
Potty mouth. Listen, this is wrong. The whole thing. People want to turn it around. We're going to argue gay, this, that. No, children shouldn't be engaged in sex. Parents have the authority. They need to say no. They need to put them in schools where teachers are not telling them that it's okay. They need to not have their children around a bunch of media that's telling them it's okay. And to classify this as abuse is benefiting who?
The child.
No, it's not benefiting the child, Vincent. It's not benefiting them. Okay?
If it's normalized, then if it's
stable, the best people, some of the best people I've seen that became adults were Catholics who just didn't want to be Catholic after they became adults. Okay? They had a more conservative, they were brought up with the understanding life isn't fair and they're not going to be able to do everything they want. That mindset is perfect for an adult.
No, but not because someone has an irrational belief about your sexuality and are trying to suppress you. That you get what you want in that situation.
You don't get to express your sexuality as a minor, is how I see it. You don't get to go express and experiment sexually in elementary
Well, you have the
school.
right. You have the right to tell people you're gay. You have the right to tell people you're gay and to not be harassed.
Nobody cares what anybody's telling anybody, Vincent. Nobody cares what another student is
okay,
telling
well, I already said that I think parents
expressing. You know what? The parents have a right to say something about it, Vincent.
Yeah, they do. They do. I didn't say they don't.
That's what we're coming down to. The parents have a right to say this behavior. You're not doing it as long as you live in my home. There is no problem with that. But everybody seems to think there is now. You're abusing a kid if you're not letting her explore her sexuality with that little boy she loves.
Okay, well, this is what I believe. I believe that parents have the right to tell their children no sex, but I think in school and socially, it should be considered.
School, it is not the teacher's business.
It's the teacher's business to tell them that, or to make that behavior seem inappropriate, and just an inappropriate behavior that they shouldn't have to be putting up with.
Why are they even talking about it, Vincent?
Because they felt as though this is what they needed as children.
That's their problem. They go see
okay, I felt that I needed more validation being gay, so I'm going to make sure that gay children have validation now. Like,
they don't
if
need
you
it
were
at the school. school, Vincent.
if you were denied validation as a gay child,
I would
or
think, Vincent, most women who grew up in the time period I grew up were taught that they were somehow invalidated as women.
yeah, well, they
Okay?
fought against
You're
that.
gonna have to get over it.
They
Okay,
got over. They did.
parents,
They fought. Oh, please,
listen,
they fought for
listen.
your rights. You live in such better conditions because women fought for to be validated.
Vincent, women aren't being validated right now.
Yeah, they are.
Okay?
They have jobs. They're
They're being told to behave like men. They're being told that having children is some second rate decision a moron makes. They're being told to even be nice to their husband is somehow selling out. What's going on right now isn't good at all across everything. But the main problem about schools is the authority is the parents. The parents have the right to tell their children to have no sex. The parents have a right to tell the schools, you are
oh
not talking to my children about sex
no,
behind
they
my
don't have that
back.
right. They don't
That
have
you're
that
not,
right.
oh,
No,
of course they do. They used to when I was a
no,
kid. You
no.
do
Now
not
they
have the
don't.
right as some unmarried lady in this classroom telling my children it's okay. You can go do whatever you like with somebody if you like them a lot. No, this is not okay. Okay, they're not being sent to school to learn a new set of morals from this loose kind of liberalism. Okay, nobody the parents have a right to tell them no. And the school teachers need to say that is something you have to ask your parents. No math teacher has any business talking about sexuality to anybody's kid. Nobody does. They don't. They weren't hired for that. The school systems weren't hired up for that. And now it's turned into a big training ground for global homo. This is ridiculous. They're getting out of school. They can't do math, but they could talk about global homo rights. You understand? This is what I'm mad about. They're wasting how many years of these kids' lives doing this? How many years?
Okay, they don't focus on it all day.
It's
There's
all
like
day
what?
long, Vincent.
No, it's like one class.
No. They undermine kids all the time. When my kids went into school, parental authority was totally being undermined. Not to this extent, not to the extent that's going on now, but yeah, it was bad. They were saying all kinds of stuff to kids, my kids and other people's kids. And all these parents keep remembering what school was like when they attended. Like when I attended school, it was during Vietnam. It was, man, it was a circus. It was kind of a circus that was going on. Okay, storm Vietnam is kind of a circus. So there's a tendency to think that when your children are in school, that school is pretty much the same as when you attended it. It has gotten progressively worse year after year after year, and then all of a sudden parents are shocked when they find out stuff their children are doing. Okay, nobody expected their kids to be lining up at school having sex like a train on a girl. And this
What?
stuff is
What are
going,
you talking about?
I'm talking about a school here. Uh, there's a girl laying on the floor in the bathroom, and the boys were lined up having sex with her. And a couple adult employees walked by and did nothing about it. Okay, I'm talking about a guy in the showers where the other guys ganged up and put a. This is a circus here. That's what was going on when my kids were in school. My kids are hitting 40. Okay, everybody keeps it quiet, but see, I knew employees in these schools. They hush all this stuff up. There is no reason anyone's sending their kids to these schools now in California. I can't say about every single other state, but California is a mess. Okay. There was one dance they had at a school. The principal was checking all the kids' underwear, make sure they were wearing underwear. Okay, the dances should have been stopped at that school because what had happened was a boy and a girl were having sex on the floor at a previous dance, and the kids were all doing a pit dance around them, and the adults couldn't see it happening. They found out because it ended up on some cell phones. They can't control what's going on in these schools. If they can't control what's going on in the schools, the parents should not be sending their children. There should be no school dances in school if our society has deteriorated to this level. Okay? This is almost the same as going in the military. You go to school, you're expected to follow the authorities' rules. Well, what the authorities are allowing is insane. They're not being responsible. They're turning their backs
Last
and they're
one.
encouraging. What did you say?
Nothing. I was talking to my husband.
Oh. Well, anyway, do you understand what I'm saying? There's the big problems here. And so to reduce this down to some little argument about, I felt that I wasn't validated because I was gay is like the least problem that's going on. This is an entire deterioration of a culture. It's
Because a new culture has to come in, the old one has to die for the new one to come
Well, the
in.
new one isn't anything that looks any good to me. I don't see anything good about it. The new culture has to die out, so the schools have to be like this. I don't think so.
Well, I mean, look, we're going through.
It was safer in the conservative school. Okay, it was just safer because now everybody's saying everything's okay,
the
and they
whole
don't
society. Look, the matter of the fact is at least 50% of the society rebelled against that because now we live in a new order, and there were enough people living in that old order that hated it, and it must have been more than 50% because they took over.
Why?
What?
Why?
Because we took over. We're in control. How would we be in control if there weren't a lot of us?
Well, Vincent, I suppose there's a lot of studies about that stuff, but I would say that a lot of it has to do with people not admitting they made mistakes.
What does that have to?
Exactly
we're
what
in
I said.
control, Carol. Carol, there's
Because
enough of us that we're in control.
Well, okay, then you could be knocked out of control. You got a problem with that? That's what I'm asking.
And well, your plan on
the end of global homo. This kind of liberalism that breaks down society. That
your plan is ridiculous. Your plan is ridiculous.
I don't care if you think it is, Vincent. I don't care if you think it's ridiculous.
No, to get rid of us. Your plan is ridiculous. Your plan to get rid of us is ridiculous.
I'm not getting rid of you. I just showed up at your house to get rid of you. I'm
saying to overcome global homo.
Oh, I think getting control of the school system is possible.
No, I don't think so.
Well, then people don't have to use it. Then parents don't have to use it.
Yeah, right? Let's see when everyone gets their child out of a school, because it's kind of hard to do that, and most people are just not going to do it.
Well, Vincent, people have to make hard decisions sometimes, and you're right. A lot of people don't, and people are leaving California. Some of the people leaving is because of the school system and because of the forced vaccines, and they don't want their children brought up here anymore. So people are leaving California just for that reason. Just for those two reasons. Anyone who's got any money, they try to get a job in another state, and they're clearing out with kids, some of them. Not all of them, because it's really hard to leave and transfer jobs and stuff. But yes, people are leaving California just for those reasons. Some are also leaving because of the taxes and some of this other stuff. But there are people leaving because my people in my family know people who have left for those reasons. They are leaving. So now you got a question of, okay, you're going to have these people who have really stable ideas about their children being because of that. They're leaving a state. These stable people are leaving the state. The state is going to be so unstable. It's going to be like it's collapsing right around. I don't know where you live, Vince. I don't know if you live in California or not. This state is collapsing. It's going. Where are you gonna? It's going into a bunch of people with handouts. This is going into no jobs. A lot of places are closed up. You go in malls now. A lot of the stores are closed and gone, and there's no new ones coming in. It's a lot of that stuff, but this is horrible. All because what? Because people want to promote these lifestyles and stuff that don't make a strong society that can function into the next era. This is a horrible loss. And
No,
you
the problem is that
equate it with people's sexual preferences when they're in elementary school and stuff is ridiculous.
the problem with traditionalists is that they create a model that gets you into the next generation, keeps going and keeps going, but it's shitty. Everyone's lives are shitty. So you say, well, look, our system keeps us alive. Doesn't it keep us alive? But the quality of life that we're getting is not
What
that
was so
great.
horrible, Vincent? What was so horrible?
Well, women and
I'm gonna finish.
homosexuals were not
What was
happy.
so horrible?
Women didn't have rights.
What was so
Wi-
horrible
Women didn't
about
have rights.
having parents who stayed married that you could depend on, that you thought you could maybe go home to later if something happens? Stable families are more important than
No, what about miserable families where the mother and father hated each other,
you
and it
know
was just
what?
talk.
Some of this stuff is even better than being in a divorced family. Dysfunction sometimes is better than divorce, Vincent.
I
Because at
don't know
least
about
someone can
that.
point and say, "Oh yeah, that was my dad. He was a loser." It's really horrible talking about stepdads. Oh yeah, you can go to one of those what are those meetings? Oh, I forgot what it's called. Not adult survivors of abuse, something like that. There's a lot of stories about stepdads and this and that. Having your real father in a home was a real protection, Vincent. I mean,
Oh,
unless
please.
it
But
was,
half
it
of them were
was.
the abusers. Half of the fathers were
Oh
the
well, but
abusers.
see, my father wasn't.
Okay, so what
Okay,
about with
let me
your father?
finish.
A lot of
Let me finish. I had some friends whose dads weren't in the homes. They had the funny uncles coming over. There wasn't a funny uncle coming towards us.
ugh,
And you could
stepfathers
say,
can
"Oh,
protect them too.
huh?"
The stepfather could protect them from that too.
Well, could, should, whatever, Vincent. But
The
nobody
father is
cares
not more
about.
likely to
No
protect the
one
child.
cares about a kid as much as their parents. And unfortunately, sometimes you don't get the best parents.
Yeah,
To
and then
sit
other
there
people
and
could love you
equate,
more.
but to think that strangers are going to do a better job, or some teachers who have no emotional investment in someone at all, is insane. Okay? The parents have to stand up for their children, and right now they're not doing so, or they would have control of these schools. Okay?
Yeah, but enough of them agree with it that this is going
I
through. You
don't
don't
think
understand.
most of them even understand what's going on. I think
No,
people
people
are
aren't
remembering
stupid.
when they were in school what people talked about. It started getting crazy. I remember during Vietnam, it started getting crazy where teachers were saying stuff to students they never would have gotten away with before. They never would have gotten away with that before. They would have been fired from their jobs. You couldn't just go in and undermine children's parents like that, like what was going on. And that started there. My parents had no idea anybody was saying that kind of stuff. And it just got worse and worse and worse. Since Vietnam, this was a big mistake. The society made a mistake. It went too far. It made a mistake. And it doesn't make me the bad person to point this out.
Well, the society also went too far into patriarchy, like not letting women vote and not
But they
letting them own
did, though, Vincent,
property.
didn't they? They did let women vote. And it was
After
the
they fought
patriarchy.
for it.
It was the men who voted yes to even get that passed.
I know,
And they
but a
did
lot
it.
of people would say that's breaking with traditionalism.
I really don't care what people are going to classify this stuff as. Okay, you all these words can be classified 4 or 5 different ways depending on if someone's talking about the philosophy or they're talking about. But the destruction of the nuclear family is the destruction of society, which is the destruction of the entire country. If this country goes down and all Europe goes down, Western civilization is gone. Okay, now civilization, the preservation of the civilization means something to some people. Okay, and I'm not seeing this other stuff as being preferable. I don't see children being better off going to these schools than they would if they could have gone into a conservative religious school, even though I don't like conservative religious schools. I don't like that. I don't think I don't really like it that much. But even I can see that it's better than this. Almost anything's better than this. Not going is better than this. Okay.
Okay, well, that kind of reminds me, there was
Do you think it's
someone.
okay? You think
No,
it's okay?
listen.
I saw someone.
Okay, I just want to say something that, you're like, well, we're keeping our kids out of the army and it's better to keep our kids out of school and stuff. I remember a woman, she was a Christian, and she was writing an article about genetic engineering and designer babies. Hold on one second. Echo, turn off the fan. And she was talking about how, like, Christians think it's wrong to genetically engineer your babies and, make them super babies and stuff like that. And at the end of the article, she complains and she says, well, in the end, it's only going to have Christians who have babies with handicaps and mental problems and this problem and that problem. And, she's basically saying, everyone else is going to be fine. And that's the same argument that you're making, that if you live your lifestyle, then I'm going to be left with children I don't want to send into the army and children I don't want to send to school, and like,
No, that's not what I said, Vincent. I
yeah,
said you
but you're
need
the
to
one
build
that's
the
going to be. No,
military.
you're
No, it's not
you're
what I
gonna.
said. You're paraphrasing me into something else. What
You
I
said you don't want
said
to. You said
was
you don't.
people today, people maybe even from a military family, they are now not encouraging their sons to join the military over this. Does the United States need a military or not, Vincent?
Yeah, well, then I'm sorry. Then you don't
Okay, so
deserve to
you
have a
want
son in the
to have it
military.
what? You want it filled up with a bunch of men where half of them will want to wear the women's uniform instead?
Well, I think
That's the
that
big great fighting force.
I think technology has really changed the way warfare can be done. I think that we could get rid of war really quickly if we just released everything. I don't think we need as much on the ground troops as we used to. I mean, things are more technologically advanced, and so
Well,
the
that's an
more.
argument. That's an argument people make, but it's also been explained to me that they can't win a war without troops on the ground.
Okay, there will always be enough troops. We don't need people like you.
We don't
There's
need
always.
people. Okay, we don't need people like me. Well, okay.
No.
Where are they?
The troops are in the military right now.
Okay, and they're leaving.
Okay, yeah, they should be leaving the Middle East.
No, they're leaving the military, Vincent.
Well, it's because they're being treated bad.
Jeez, because they're being.
It's not. It's not because there's a gay officer there. That's not why.
Vincent, this whole gay thing being out in the open and stuff, they all got to keep it in the closet. And so do the straight people. It all needs to go in the home, in the closet.
Everyone is allowed to talk about how straight they are on a military base.
As far as I know, I think they can now. They can talk about being gay on the military base.
I know, but when there was no don't ask, don't tell, straight people could be like, oh yeah, I'm married, I'm straight, I like to have sex with women. They were allowed to say that.
So?
Yeah, so a gay man should be able to say the same thing.
Why?
Because what's the difference?
So the other guys feel safer around him when they're out in a trench trying to shoot somebody? I don't think so, Vincent. I'd love to be a man in a military unit where all the men in it were interested in women. I don't want to be in a military unit where a man might be interested in me. If I was a man, I'm speaking figuratively. If I was a man, I don't want to be in a military unit like that.
Okay, then stay out of it.
Well, that's what's happening.
Okay, good.
Well, good, Vincent. Well, okay, are you going to go in the military?
Okay, so we'll use more technology. The gays and the women, we'll make it more technological. We'll just make it more
Okay. So what do you
technological.
think? You're gonna move. We're gonna leave. We're gonna what? We're gonna
Not
move
all of you. You're
you.
not all gonna. You're not all gonna leave. We'll replace you with
Uh,
guys who don't care, that want the blowjobs and shit like that. We'll replace it with all these bisexuals, and we'll use more technology so we don't need as many troops on the ground. So go ahead and don't have any jobs, and don't go to school, and don't go to college, and don't send your kids into the military. So you have no
well, here's
influence
it. I
there.
didn't say people shouldn't send their kids to school. I said pull them out of these schools.
Okay, yeah,
They don't need to go
yeah,
to
go
public
ahead,
school.
do it. Okay, go do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, people are doing it. People are doing it. Okay.
Okay, let's see how that works out for them.
I don't know, Vincent.
It's
I
very, you're
all the
becoming very
people I know,
atomized.
the
Okay, here's
homeschool
your
kids I
plan
know finish college.
to homeschool your kids so they don't get that like network of friends that you get if you go to school.
They don't need a
Or
network of friends who are confused that think they need to explore sexuality with them. They don't need to go to school with kids like that. If that's what's going on in all the kids' homes, like you're
okay,
saying, they don't need to be
isolate them.
around them.
Great, great. You'll get lots of power by isolating yourselves. Good
Lots
for
of
you.
power.
Yeah, you're really gonna stop global
No, what
homo
I'm
by
hoping
becoming
is, Vincent, what I'm
isolationist.
hoping is that enough people will pull themselves out of school that the state will have to start listening to the parents and decide that the school needs to educate the subjects, not political gender ideas. Okay? That's what I'm hoping. That enough will pull them out that they will just have to realize they're going to have to change this because they don't want the parents to leave the schools. If enough pull out, they will have to listen to them. They're not listening to them right now. They're listening to this political agenda.
I think you underestimate, number one, just how many people are okay with their kids being in. I think people might be upset about the quality. I'm upset about the quality of the
Well, they're
education,
wasting
but
too much time. They're
well,
wasting
I
time
no, but I'm not
talking about
upset.
pronouns now. We're going to spend a couple hours talking about pronouns and nobody can remember because people don't look like their pronouns anymore. I mean, this it's the whole thing is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's all is geared for is creating a certain mindset by the time they grow up. All this pacifism, somebody hits you, you can't hit back. What do they want? A bunch of mama's boys? You can't
Okay,
defend yourself anymore?
it needs to equilibrate. This is why I'm saying, okay, let me tell you what's going to happen. Right now, the approach of Globo Homo is soft power. Okay, we don't come in with militaries or anything like that. We just come in with our complaints and our demands for rights, and that's it. We're eventually going to realize, you people, okay, we have to stay on our toes, and you people are going to, there's going to be a backlash. So we're going to get scared, and I'm telling you, we're going to become a lot more militant. And let me tell you, when we become more militant, we're going to get more respect. And there's going to be, I mean, you do not know the flip side of the coin
They have less kids in the school then,
of
Vincent.
homosexuality. No, I think people will actually like militant homosexuality because it's scary, and if it's done properly, it's very authoritative. There were a lot of homosexuals in the Nazi Party, a lot, a lot.
Oh, so you're a fascist now, Vincent?
No, I'm
Even
not
though
a fascist. I'm just saying.
this is
I'm just,
really open-minded for people with children, right?
yeah, it is, of
Now you're going to
course.
tell us how to raise our kids. So you don't believe in parental authority at all, do you, Vincent?
No, I don't think you have the right to abuse a child.
I didn't say that. I said parental
Yeah,
authority.
okay,
You don't think people have the right to pass down their culture and their
not if it's bigotry. No, okay,
not
you
if
have the
you
right.
don't
No,
like it.
no. You are allowed to pass down your culture. I never said you're not allowed to pass down your culture,
For
and
sure you did.
told,
That's what you're saying, Vincent.
no, and I've already said that you have the right to tell your children not to have sex. I did say that.
Oh, okay. So what else are
Uh,
you giving me permission to tell my kids about?
but what I'm saying is that
Do I have
when
permission
they
to tell
go
my
to a
kids?
secular school, they need to be taught secular values that are common to the government and which unite all the people and is not based on religion or irrational
Well,
beliefs.
listen, you just said that you guys are going to rise up and go militant against us.
No,
That
we're going to
doesn't
get
sound like
militant
to
to
me
defend
that you have
ourselves,
open-minded.
no, we have to do it to defend ourselves.
So you're going to go against us in the schools to defend yourselves.
Yes.
Uh-huh. But we can't.
Of course. Well, we're going to make it difficult for you.
Okay, so there's a problem with
This
me
is a
making it
war.
difficult for
No,
you?
yeah, you know what, Carol? You're right. This is a fucking war. I mean, I guess you don't want to play like full warfare. So, yeah, I'll do whatever it takes to win.
Okay. Does it bother you if our kids are gone?
What do you mean gone?
If we actually get it together and remove all of our kids, does that bother you?
Okay, let me
Then
tell
you'd
you
have more
this.
control of the school, wouldn't you? You'd have
Okay,
more
let me tell you
control of the
this.
school.
Let's just pretend that did happen.
Let's
Let's
yeah, let's
pretend.
pretend that it did. Let's pretend
Okay,
that it did. Would you be
let's pretend.
happier?
But let me tell you this, that is no guarantee that your children are going to grow up to be like you. And we would have more control over the
Whether there's a
culture.
guarantee or not isn't what I asked you. I asked you, would you be happy if we were all gone from the schools?
Actually, yes, I would.
Okay, so now we're getting down to what your real idea is, aren't we, Vincent?
Yeah, I want you to isolate
Okay,
yourself
you
from
have a
society.
fascist idea that conservative people promoting monogamous lifestyles or monogamous lifestyles with opposite gendered people keeping the DNA in the same family with both parents raising the children is exactly what you want to see gone from this country,
No,
isn't it?
I don't want to see that gone. I
Yes,
want to see.
obviously it's obvious. You
No,
want to take over the
I don't want to see
school,
that gone.
and it's abuse.
I want to see people.
You are
I want to
classifying as abuse that lifestyle
No,
in
not
the
no.
schools by
Forcing
saying that
that. No, no,
teachers
no.
take
I
away
didn't
the day
say
off
that.
to our
No,
kids. Sure you are.
I said I want to ban and make it illegal that if your child is a homosexual and you are making that child feel uncomfortable for being a homosexual, then yes, that's illegal. That's what I said. Not
That's
that
not
you're
what you
not.
said, Vincent. You just said you didn't want any of us in the schools, and that you're going to rise up and become militant gays and go against us and
No,
full-fledged
I don't want anyone who is homophobic and who wants to teach their children homophobic.
I don't want any gay teachers, openly gay teachers teaching my kids.
Okay, so then get them
Okay.
out of the school. So yes, I would be happy. Atomize your families, leave
Okay,
civilization,
and so
let us have control of the
you
government.
can have.
We'll
Oh,
have
so how
control
about
of the
this? How
weapons.
about
We'll
this?
have control of the weapons. Okay,
You guys make? How about you guys have the gay schools, and we can have the hetero schools.
no, you have to go make your own hetero schools if you want that away from
Why
us.
we can
Then
do that with the charter school? Why can't
go
we?
do it. Go do it.
Oh, I'm just talking theoretically here.
Okay,
Is
I'm
that
saying go
okay?
ahead and do it. Go
Okay,
ahead.
all right. Is there
Okay.
a problem with it?
I didn't say there was.
So
I
then we're
think
going to
you're
have a
gonna. Do,
group of people. We're going to have a group of the bonobo people, and we're going to have a group of the heteros. That's your idea, and that's going to what keep the militant gays from pressing their agenda even more.
no, it's going to. Oh yeah, it's going to obviously be unite and fight. I mean, accelerate things. I want
And
people
why are
like
you
you
doing this? Why are you doing this in the schools again? Why are you messing around with elementary school kids' ideas, brains on this when they don't even have their freaking hormones yet?
so that they more likely grow up to be like me.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Like
okay. Okay. Is there why does it bother you that maybe there's a bunch of people that think maybe children need to grow up and be more conservative? Why is that a problem?
well,
Because you
okay,
don't believe.
there's a
Because
different.
Vincent, you don't believe in people having free choice. what you believe in is programming them from day one to your political ideology that will not help sustain this type of Western culture into the future.
Okay, but this is an irrational opinion based on the
No, it's
Bible or
not. It's all
Quran.
based on you. It's all based on what you're saying. This is. Did it ever occur to you that maybe I'm a Muslim because I was conservative to begin with?
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. But there's no rational reason. You can't just come in and be like, I don't want a homosexual teaching my children because, because,
Why
because,
you're
because.
doing it?
No,
You're
well,
insisting
wait,
that
why shouldn't I fight for
listen,
my rights?
you
You're
are
trying to deny
insisting,
me a right. You're trying to deny me the right to be a teacher. Why would you?
Vincent, the teachers are supposed to be employees.
So what
The
the if
parents to the
okay,
parent.
what if
Listen,
the teacher's married and
the
she talks about her
parent,
husband?
if the teacher is not gay, right now they have to promote global homo, even if they don't agree with it.
Well, that's their job. That's
Well, their
not.
job was to teach math, reading, physics. It was to teach
They
these
do
subjects.
teach that
Was
stuff.
not
Stop.
was not to teach global homo at the expense of everything else, and that's what's going on. Now you have the teachers who don't agree with this have to stand there and agree with it in order to keep their jobs, because you have this political agenda that's been pressed into all of this. Do you understand? This is not parental authority.
Okay. Yeah. Well, look.
Look, if you have this
We're
stuff going
trying to.
on, it
We're
needs to be taken
trying
out of
to.
school.
We're trying to indirectly change society
You're not trying to
so
do
that
it indirectly. No, you're trying to
look,
do it by taking over the
we're
school.
not exactly, yeah, but that's not, we're trying to do it in such a way that we're not exactly taking your rights away.
Sure you are.
Exact.
Sure you
No,
are.
not
You have the kids
exactly.
in there 8 Oh, if that's true, Vincent, then what's the problem with the conservative people talking as conservatively as they want around all the children in school?
They
What's the problem with that? Well,
I
they
th-
can't.
okay,
They can't anymore.
well, okay, do you think that a teacher has the right to teach that perhaps homosexuality is improper?
I think they need to teach math in the math class. Okay?
Okay,
I
but the
don't think
other
they
side
have
is
to listen.
impermissible. Okay, look, you don't want them preaching that, and you don't want them talking about your side on in the school at all, because you know that if you did that, people would rise up against you.
I don't want the teachers talking about this stuff at all in the schools. It doesn't belong in the schools. Okay?
Okay, well, look, we have made it so that
Yeah, here we go. See, you just want to make it that way. You're some kind of a fascist. This is some kind of global
no,
homo
listen,
fascism.
no,
You want to force it on
listen,
conservatism. You are
no,
not
listen.
open-minded about other people's
Listen,
ideas or
listen.
anything.
We
I
have
admit it, you won't.
listen. In the war, in this total open war,
Here we are.
we have made it so that gay rights have been adopted generally by most people as part of a secular uh, government. So now, of course, look, you obviously know that black people or all children, when they go to school, learn that black people were slaves and had no rights, and now they have rights, and the Bill of Rights and all of this other kind of stuff, and the banning of slavery and how it changed the Constitution and all that kind of stuff. They learn this secular understanding about rights in America, and then now, so we've said, okay, well, gay rights are now secular, so we're going to go through all what happened to gays and how they were suppressed and what the opinions were and how that turned around, and then how they got gay marriage, and now it's a civil right, and you're saying that it's okay to do it with the racial people but not with us.
I'm saying I don't even think when I was in school they needed to waste time talking about how the straight people were living. I don't see
What
any
is
point to it being in school. School needs to be a lot less hours. They need to teach the subjects that they need to teach, let the kids out, and quit trying to act like they've all joined some kind of a kibitz commune that's being brought up by a bunch of liberal teachers or teachers pretending to be liberal for fear of losing their jobs. Okay? If I pay for a math tutor, I want my kid to come out with knowing some math. What's going on right now is they're graduating knowing an awful lot about global homo, but about zero subject matter. This is pathetic. Okay? It's absolutely pathetic. A math teacher
Okay.
has no business talking about
Okay.
sexuality
There's a
in his
difference.
class.
There's a difference between saying that you're focusing too much on global
No,
homo
there's
versus.
no reason for a math teacher to talk about anything else except math. There's no reason that anybody has to know anything about his personal life or his vacation he took last month or anything. We don't need to know all this personal stuff about the teachers. There was a time when a teacher said nothing about their family life in front of a class. There's no reason for it, Vincent.
Okay, but those were very oppressive times that people rebelled against.
What are you talking about? The
People
math
rebelled.
teacher isn't qualified to talk about any
Okay,
of it.
listen, your old era was rebelled against by enough of the population that it crumbled. Okay, nobody liked it,
No,
or
it's
no.
not crumbled yet, Vincent.
Oh, it's in bad shape.
No, it's in bad shape. It's not crumbled.
Oh, it's
And if the people don't stop giving this stupid liberal advice to everybody, they're going to end up with a country that's a bunch of people that think they're going to reevaluate every day what gender they are and who they can have sex with, but can't do anything. Okay? It's ridiculous. You know as well as I do that some of the best earners in the United States have been white gay men, and it's because they didn't make anyone pregnant when they were in high school. That's one of the reasons. They couldn't go express themselves, so they studied. Well, I think in school, children need to be in school because they're in school. They can talk to themselves. They can deal with things. They are not to explore their sexuality at school. They should not be making out with some kid at the lockers. That shouldn't be going on at the schools.
Okay, well, we have made it.
You've made it even a bigger sex show than it was before.
Okay, look, we have made that sexual liberation seems like a secular value. So you know you
it's not
have
a secular value though. Well, who cares
but
if it's a gay
who defines
value?
what secular? Who defines what secularism is?
Okay, a gay secular value isn't why I was ever sending my kids to school. I wasn't sending them to school to learn religion either, and I wasn't sending them to school so that a teacher could tell them to not obey the parents.
Did you send them to school to learn about the Constitution?
They didn't even teach the Constitution in the school, Vincent.
That's stupid. They should.
They taught stock market because they want everyone to pay for their own retirements.
No, well, they should have taught.
There's a lot of problems with the schools. There's a lot of problems with the schools.
Well, I learned the Constitution in school, and I learned about my rights, and I learned about separation of church and state, and all this other kind of stuff. And
when I went to school, that stuff was taught.
It was or wasn't?
Every year they would have it, and then they would expand on it a little bit. Like every year through elementary school, they would talk about politics. You know, the house, you know, you got the 3 branches of government, this kind of thing. They didn't really explain how lobbyists function, but I mean, they did explain that. They didn't explain anything about the whip. They didn't explain any of that stuff, but they did generally teach about that we have, you know, we have the executive, the legislature, the judicial branch. I mean, they did that every year. They teach a little bit about the state, and then the next year, a different aspect about state history. When I was growing up, I can honestly say I don't think my kids had any classes that resembled anything like that.
Well, I did.
And what state are you in?
I was raised in New York State, and I went to school.
Maybe New York did. California doesn't. California, the school system is. I see no point why anyone's even sending their kids there, except they need babysitters while they're at work. I was that bad here. That you go into a neighborhood that looks like people have a lot of money, and you read the school report card, and they're not even up at the 50% tile. You know, you can look up school report cards for schools and neighborhoods and stuff. It's bad. I think one of my nieces is at a school that I think the school's at 33%. These schools are a mess. Okay, that's just one aspect. So do I think that the kids, that's helping anything, that kids are being told to explore it when they're still getting hormones? Yeah, I don't see any reason to do that to somebody. Okay, and if they can't get a better
I
grip
don't know
on it,
where
they need
people,
to separate.
you know,
If they
I,
can't get a grip on it, they need to separate them.
I,
If
I,
they can.
I keep running into people with you, and I keep wondering the way you talk about global homo and how powerful it is,
Well, it's a
and then
mess in
what?
California.
No, and then
This
I
is like the test state. Okay, Vincent. This
what
is like the big test state for all this stuff.
test?
You
Oh
know,
no,
this
but
is like the
can
test
I?
state.
Can
This
I?
is
I
the
just
one where
want.
they're eradicating constitutional rights. All this is happening in California.
I want no, but I wanted to say that um, you all talk about the strength of global homo, and I try to tell you over and over again. I hate when you say the word peak global homo because we're nowhere near peak. It is
See?
nowhere peak global homo, as if we are in the peak of our power. We are
Well,
far
I
from.
didn't say the peak of your power. I'm talking about this isn't a step back or something. This
But
is
do you think that we're
this.
at our peak, or do you think we're going to get stronger?
Oh, I think everybody's deteriorating. I think the projections is that this entire country will be destroyed. As the leader of the Western world, it being destroyed will be a disaster. And I think what has to be promoted is a more conservative lifestyle, a return to religion and moralism, so that we don't have a government that has sold out to an oligarchy like this. Because I just can't see it, Vincent. I just can't see a bunch of liberal global homo people being able to fix this. Okay? That's the problem. You want the entire fall of the Western world, the greatest history that ever existed on earth, to be destroyed, to be what? A bunch of socialists and communists? That's the
No,
problem.
I think that
Okay,
um,
but you having your feelings hurt in elementary school because you were around people that didn't validate your gayness.
no, they were very cruel to me.
Well, they shouldn't
Every,
allow cruelty in the school, Vincent. That's a problem. They cannot allow
okay,
kids to
but
be bullied.
nobody told me that I was being abused because, well, my parents didn't, my parents knew I was gay. I didn't tell them, obviously, and they didn't ask me until much later. But, they were obviously teaching me that homosexuality was wrong and stuff like that. But,
Well, okay, Vincent. But why is the school supposed to
well,
do
but if they knew I was homosexual and they had been telling me nasty things about myself, I should have learned something in school, just like good touch, bad touch. Is mommy an alcoholic? This kind of stuff. I should have learned that my parents, if they were doing that to me, I was being abused and I should report it.
Vincent, you got a bunch of kids now telling their parents they're going to call 911 on them, and then they go get their friends whose dad's a lawyer and try to cause trouble with parental authority. Now, you have teachers undermining parental authority, and you have other kids' parents undermining it. This was unheard of when I was a kid. Pretty much unheard of. It would have had to been someone was killing somebody to get like this.
No,
This is
yeah,
kids.
right. That's
Kids.
what you want, that it would take to the point of
No,
almost killing your child.
what I'm saying is undermining parental authority itself is a mistake
If you're
because
abusing the child, yeah.
these other people are not bringing up. You need consistent rules and these things. If someone is gay and they're growing up and they're in a house, you're going to have to deal with these problems. Everybody comes from a family that's dysfunctional in some way
No,
because
not if you're
people.
telling if you're telling your child they're going to hell because they're gay, then you need to get the child out of the
Vincent,
house.
Vincent, it doesn't. Okay, look, they're going to grow up and they're going to leave home. Are kids better
No,
equipped to be able to leave home with the best education they can have, with being able to get a good paying job, since most people have to work for other people, right?
mhm.
That way, or that they've spent all their time discussing, experiencing sexual behavior when they are not ready to face the consequences of that behavior. Get out of school with a substandard education and face the world like that. Which one is better? Don't you want the rest of your life to be good?
What does that have to do with what we were just
This
talking
is
about?
what the
Like,
school system's about. It's trying to make children be able to face the world as adults, equipped with the best skills they can have, the best ability to logically think and problem solve. And that's not what's happening in these schools
okay,
anymore.
well, I
What's
understand that.
happening is a floating morality that keeps changing. If they don't have stable rules in society that are not changing as a young person, they have trouble functioning as an adult.
You
And
know
they
what? You
become
know why we're
whiny
gonna
adults, Vincent. They become whiny adults.
You know what? You know why we're gonna win? Because, like you said, in
Well,
traditionalism,
maybe
it's you
you
have these
will.
wait,
What?
you have these stable rules. Okay, listen, you have these stable, unchanging rules in your society that keep your society going, and then we come in and we kind of change that. And I mean, we don't get rid of everything, but what we do get rid
No,
of some
no,
stuff.
no, Vincent. We don't have stable, unchanging rules right now.
No, no, listen, you don't. No, no, no. Your side wants a society with stable, unchanging rules.
My side says following child development science. That's what children need.
Okay, no, but you're just
Yeah.
saying
What
the
you're
tradi
describing, the
you're
stuff
saying
you're
the tradition.
describing is what's in child development books as abuse. The stuff you're describing.
Okay, listen.
No,
The
Vincent, that's the
no,
point.
can you let me make a point? Can you let me make a point that
No.
your way of approaching this is unchanging. We evolve because we change. So we might not have it right at a certain point, but then we adapt. And that's why the left hasn't fallen yet, or liberalism hasn't fallen yet, because it never, as soon as you grab it, it mutates, and it comes back at you with a different and new morality and critical theory and these kinds of things. It always thinks of something new, and that's why you're never going to be able to destroy us, because you're this one non-changing blob with just a few
You
magic
think
tricks.
you think that conservative people have a right to have their children in a conservative school.
Yes,
Okay, then what's the problem?
I told you I don't have a problem with that.
Well, you did earlier. You said go ahead and leave and all this. Why is it we have to go pay money for that? Why can't we use tax money for that? Why can't the conservative people, all these
If
people,
okay, if
why
okay,
can't
if
we
you
put our kids
okay,
in a
okay.
school that's not promoting global homo? Because we think our children have enough problems dealing with already being indoctrinated to think they're supposed to have straight sex when they're 13.
Okay, if you want to teach values that are not accepted as secular by the current government, then you have to have your own school. If you want your doctrine to be taught in school, then you need to be in control of the term secularism.
and you're not, because we are in control, because right now we're in top and we're only going to
Because
get even more control.
because a lot of religious people did not understand that they were supposed to put pressure on this government.
Yeah,
They so confused with that freaking Johnson amendment that they thought they weren't allowed as religious people to have any say on government, and that's not true. We are allowed, the religious are allowed to have a voice. They're
wait, no.
allowed to group together. They're allowed to address the government as themselves, as religious people, and have that be the reason they're addressing the government. They do not have to think that they have to find a secular argument to justify why they want the law changed. They do not have to do that. They can address government as they are. And this is what too many religious people in the United States understood the law as, because of that stupid tax law.
Look,
It
look,
came
let me.
Hmm?
When gay marriage was going to be passed, the religious right really worked really hard to stop that, and they all worked together, and they pushed really hard, and they said no, 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 and it went through because there were a lot of people who did want it, because you know what, you don't have as much power as you think you do.
No, what happened, Vincent, is the religious people have not even begun to get together in this country. Okay, you had a group of evangelicals in the Catholic Church that realized, we can switch around Roe versus Wade here based on our religious ideas about the conception, when birth starts at conception, which isn't my view, by the way, but that's what they came up with, and they decided to have an effect on government. But religious people in this country have not joined together politically at all. If you want to talk about a peak, I don't know what the peak would look like if the religious all started getting on the same page. But that's what
Well,
needs to happen.
yeah, but they're
No, go ahead.
really.
That's true, Vincent. You want to
Wait,
talk about
look,
global homos not at its peak? The religious people are not at its peak
there's a
because
lot
they,
less of them than there's ever been. There's a lot less of them than there's ever been,
well, I
ever
think if
in
they, I
America.
think if they did little field trips to these schools, they would change their mind.
Okay, well, it's not happening. Look,
It
the
might.
religious people are not, religious people are not doing that. They're not like,
Gay people were just hiding in closets since when?
since the 60s.
Okay, they were hiding in closets since then they came out. It got in style here to downplay religiosity, but not everywhere is California, and not
Not
everywhere
everywhere,
is
but there's
the
less people. They're less populated, that area. The middle country is a lot less populated.
the point is, Vincent, that religious people got it in their head to not involve themselves in politics as religious people. Okay, now you got Ted Cruz talking a little bit, and he sounds like a preacher because his dad was one. But the truth is, religious people are not involved in politics anywhere near as much as they should be. What you have are religious people selling out, joining the Democratic Party, and promoting global homo. I don't know how many Muslims are doing that, all because they thought Republicans weren't very nice to them. And they didn't like the Muslim ban, or they just thought these people, they're too Christian for them. Well, so what?
So we're
Our
subverting them.
values were the same.
We're subverting your people. We're doing a really good job.
Well, it's flipping the other way now because now
Oh,
people are
really?
starting to realize. Yeah, I think so. I think religious people are seeing that this is just too much. When they see that there is a school that their child is going to, and they realize there's no way. Why? How can I be sending them to this place and feeling guilt about it? They're thinking about it. Okay, now why there's such a sleeping bunch of people, I don't know, but they need to wake up. Okay, because
Yeah, well,
conservatism, family values,
I'm telling you, we're gonna respond just by becoming more radical. And this, I'm telling you,
more radical, okay, let's tear it up. Let's tear up everything like you guys did in Seattle. that what you're saying? We're gonna
No,
go.
I think
So you don't believe in the
that's
Constitution?
not real power. That's
You don't
not real
believe in
power. That's
Then what
I'm
are you
talking about
talking about?
something more
Because
militant, like
militant. Okay, I haven't even spoken about militancy.
no, like
You
if
keep
okay,
bringing
like
it up.
start like oh you know what we would start keeping files on you and see who was spreading what, and are you part of an organization to take away gay rights? Are you conspiring?
Yeah, I
You
know that
know
goes on. What about it?
what?
I said I know that goes on. What about it?
Yeah, well, we would start taking deeper steps, and I really think that we
So
need to
maybe we should
further.
take
I
deeper,
think we
deeper
need to
steps.
further.
Maybe we should take deeper steps, right,
I I
Vincent? Like
think
maybe
I
tell
think
everybody.
I think that we should get a hold of the military. I think that we should infect all
It
the
sounds so
cops.
fascist to me.
I
This
think that
is
we
really
should infect the government, and I think we should
Mhm.
have all the power, and people like you have like one or two guns, and we have all the secret soldiers on our side, all the black ops and all that kind of stuff. And if you even, I mean, just make sure we'll blacklist you. You can't get
Vincent,
jobs. You won't get
Vincent,
jobs. You won't get
Vincent,
jobs. Yeah.
Vincent. I think you need to
What you
talking. Listen,
wait, no, you
listen,
blacked out.
listen.
You what? What you
Oh, it pooped out the audio.
yes, what did you say?
I said I think you should rewatch this stream here and then pretend like there's different people fighting and pretend like you're listening to someone who is a fascist talking. Imagine somebody else and then ask yourself, oh gosh, that does sound an awful lot like fascism.
No, I'm just using democratic means to
Well, that's not
win.
democratic means. Democratic
Yes, it
means
is.
to go intimidate people, to keep
Not intimidate. I
listening.
didn't say
You sure
intimidate.
you did. You're going to
No,
keep
I
listening
didn't. I
on everybody who doesn't believe in your stuff. That's fascist behavior, Vincent.
no,
You're
it's
going to
because you're conspiring to take away people's rights.
it doesn't matter, Vincent. We're supposed
Yeah,
to
no,
have
if
freedom
that's a
of
dangerous,
political
that's
thought.
un-American activity. That's un-American
No, it's
activity.
not.
Yes, it is.
What you're suggesting is
Conspiring to enslave people is un-American activity.
I'm not enslaving anybody.
No, but I'm saying it's another example of
Why
an
are you talking about an irrelevant example? Do you know someone who's a slave right now?
no, but if there were people trying to return it, the government would get files on them.
No, Vincent. You said you would keep files.
No, the
Your
government
state
would keep
community
files.
would do it.
If there
And
was, if there were,
basically, what you're discussing is a return to the McCarthy era. Only instead of communism, we're going to go against conservative people who believe in nuclear family, father, mother, parents in the home.
no, we're gonna go after homophobes, not
Oh, a
that.
homophobe. We're going to keep files on all these people because you want to define them as a homophobe.
Yeah, they are
Do I seem
homophobes.
particularly scared of you, Vincent? And if you're that scaredy
Yes.
cat, what difference does it make?
Yeah, you do seem kind of scared.
No, I
Yeah,
don't. No, I don't. I'm not scared of
yeah,
you,
I
but
think
I'm
you're scared
truly
of our power.
scared.
I think that you're nervous about us. I
I'm
think
not nervous, Vincent. I'm at an age where I'm just so disgusted that the younger generations here have women, especially women, have got such poor advice that they're ruining their futures and the future generations of their children based on these crazy ideas. Okay, you think it's not easy to be a parent. Parents need to be able to handle a little boredom. They need to
look,
follow some
if
rules. They
if
need to
you
do
are
that stuff. You've got a
if you are
generation now that can't even string along logical sentences.
if you are part of an official coalition to take away, let's say, the right for homosexuals to have marriage, I didn't say you should be stopped, but you should definitely be monitored for
By who?
un-American activity
By who?
by the government.
Okay, so now you're talking about most of the people in the Republican Party need to be monitored.
Probably.
Well, yeah, probably because why?
Because they're conspiring to take. No,
Why? They're openly. They're
most
openly.
people in the Republican Party are not conspiring to take away gay rights.
I think most of the people in the Republican Party have lost focus on what they need to be focusing on.
Okay, so
It's
but your side is
unfortunate.
really poorly populated.
Well, it
So
was ridiculous argument in the first place to say who somebody wants to have sex with is an identity. This is ridiculous.
it
Sexual
isn't.
preference is
You
not an
made it an
identity.
identity. You singled us out and said you're homosexuals and you're wrong. You made our identity. We didn't just, hey everyone, I'm a homosexual.
There's
No,
no
you're like,
reason homosexuality falls under these civil rights laws, or being a straight person falls under.
because our rights were taken away from us.
What? What rights,
Okay,
Vincent?
if you have the right to marry, we have the right to marry.
I think you guys can get married now, right?
Yeah, but you were denying us that right for a long time.
So
So what do you mean?
what's payback now? Now it's payback. You're going to go against all the conservatives.
No,
Don't agree with this
that's how it
open
became a civil rights
lifestyle.
issue.
It's open lifestyle.
That's
If
how
people were listening to me, all this stuff would be in the closet. Most of what you're seeing, most of this behavior not most of the behavior outside, but a lot of in the home. A lot of it will be out of the cartoons. All these little sex jokes in cartoons. Why is that, Vincent? Why do all these sex jokes have to be in cartoons?
why not?
Are Americans this dumb? They can't even make a joke anymore if it's not a sexual innuendo involved in it somehow? Do kids who don't have any sexual feelings at all, really young kids, right? That they're imitating this sexual behavior from seeing it on TV and trying to twerk? Because I mean, this is pretty bad, Vincent. This is really bad. Okay, I mean, what happened with kids having a childhood, playing outside, trying to make like some kind of a rafting to go down some sand dunes or to float around, like try to make their own little boat and float. I mean, what happened to all that?
Kids still do that.
No, not in the cities or not. All they're doing is plugged on the phones, watching Instagram and people tour. It's pretty bad.
But you can't.
I'm seeing if I see one more video of a 4-year-old trying to twerk, I mean, what is that?
Yeah, but there's nowhere to float a raft in the city.
No, there's not. But we have a big country, and I did take my kids to a park and get a bunch of cardboard and have them go down the grass on it like a sled. I mean, I did try. It's unfortunate getting stuck living in apartments. It is. You don't get to use tools as much. You don't get to build things. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But I didn't sell out and say, okay, here's your internet device, and you can watch a bunch of teenagers making fools out of themselves. Who got, the most they got out of any of this feminism was that now they have to look like a sex toy for a bunch of other teenage boys. This is very sad, Vincent. And it's very sad that I'm seeing a lot of gay men doing the same thing. Okay? Conservatism helps everybody. Okay? But I have to go, Vincent, because I actually have to, do the Muslim thing and go pray. So I got to hit the road here.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on.
Okay, bye. I think Claire's left or whatever. But bye, Claire. And let me see I'll say bye to everybody. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Okay.
Sorry, I was eating. I want more. Okay. Well, that was interesting. I don't know where she gets hope from. All they do is complain about how they have no power, and then they think they're just gonna overpower us by taking their kids out of public schools. Let's see. Oh, there's who's Steel Driver said hi, Claire. When the military abolished don't ask, don't tell it made teamwork about identity and really messed up the unity in missions. Hi, I'm waiting in the backstage. Can you? Oh wait, who's back here? There's someone in the backstage. Oh, oh, Steel Driver was trying to get on. What's this? I'm sorry, someone was trying to get in here. He said you can tell Vincent is only about his selfish sexuality. He has nothing to offer in the conversation about economics, politics, or social degeneration. Yeah. Well. Oh God, what should I do? I was just looking. Well, so that was this show. Interesting. Interesting show. I don't think there's two people listening, but is anyone Steel Driver? Are you still here? Can you still come on the show or no? Seems like Claire is no longer here. Actually, let me just add her back to the stream. I don't know what else to talk about. That was a tense conversation with Carol. She was all worked up, wasn't she? Yeah, I guess people need to know who's boss, right? I mean, our social agenda needs to be, gay rights, we've made it into a secular. Why is that? Oh, God. If gay rights is made into a secular value, then that's what's going to be taught in the schools. So anyway, I'm gonna go, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.